Welcome to Let Me Ask You This. I'm your host, Tom. This podcast is my experience in having conversations with people, whether I knew them before or just now meeting them. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the show. Shit, man, how you been?
Good. I've just been going to the gym every day, just working on my mental health and my physical health. So it's been a grind, but it's been good. Tiring for sure.
Why even? So are you working on top of going?
So originally I was. I'm working for Southwest. I've been there for like 6 years.
The airlines?
Yeah.
How you like that?
I love it. Fly for free, tons of benefits, all types of stuff. But it takes a toll on your body. You know that with doing any type of exercising. So, I had a back injury, was dealing with that for a while, and then, I'm going to Cairo now. So on top of losing weight and, getting myself healthy, it's made a difference. So.
Oh no, I totally get that.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna move this so I can sit back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just get comfortable if I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that.
Thanks. Oh, this is nice.
My wife and her pillows.
Yeah, so tell me more about the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu thing. I'm interested in that.
Yo, so I just started. So I'm not even going to try to talk it up that much.
Yeah.
I can talk about wrestling all day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I'll go up against a purple belt. I've only been going for a couple months. I haven't been consistent. I've been sucking. But I'm at the point where if I hurt because of my work, I don't go.
Yeah, it's tough. Honestly,
because I don't get paid.
Yeah, honestly, it's tough to find a fine line. Right now, I'm not working, so I spend a lot of time just working out. But finding that fine line between working 8 hours, I need to sleep 8, hang out with the family. Where do you fit in the working out and stuff? So it's really hard for the normal person to get used to, I would say.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's getting you because I work out every day.
Yeah.
Before I started going to jiu-jitsu, I lifted every day. Me and my brother created our own gym in the bottom of our work. Yeah,
that's awesome.
And we have a squat rack, we have a pulley system, and then we just got a Smith machine.
Yeah.
It has a couple of different workouts you can do on it. They have a pull down, they have the legs, they have chest.
Yeah.
But then I was I want to do something more active. So I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I love it. It looks
hard.
It is.
It's hard.
It's wicked hard. And so I've gained 30 pounds.
Really?
Since I've gotten out of the military.
Okay.
Because I've wanted to.
Yeah, beef up a little bit.
Well, it's not even beef up a little bit. I was dealing with an eating disorder because of wrestling.
Yeah.
And then when I was leaving the military, I was having stomach issues.
Really?
And while I was deployed, I lost 20 pounds.
That's insane.
And
to be working out that much in the military, doing all the stuff you're doing, and lose 20 pounds.
And it wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
And so when I got back, I was nauseous every day for 2 years. I'm not even exaggerating.
That must have got tiring just mentally, over and over.
And when I say nauseous every day, I'm not even kidding. I woke up. It was terrible. It was the worst experience of my life.
Yep.
And it was because of how much stress I was under from just life and coming back to my
it gets in the
employment
way. It gets in the way.
And that's when I started taking mental health seriously. And I know people who have a bunch of mental health issues, and it's I'm different. That's not going to affect me, and then it affects you, and you're oh shit.
I've learned it's mental health is the hardest battle you ever go through. I wake up some days and I'm what am I even doing here anymore? And then I tell myself, all right, let's go to the gym, and at least conquer something, because you have to give yourself something to do, or you're just going to be miserable.
So almost every morning, no matter what, I wake up and I do the dishes.
Good.
It's one small thing that I know if I do it, it will just kickstart my day. I completed one easy task.
Yes.
Easy. And before I would wake up and do yoga, but then I would have to wake up even earlier than what I wanted to. And I was in I was just like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't need to do that. I stretch after I work out.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what can I do to like get me motivated in the morning to do something? And I put headphones on. I listen to Joe Rogan. And
he's the best. I love his podcast. You know, for me, it was just, you know, I was in a bad place mentally. I gained like 60 pounds. Like, I needed to change something, and just, you know, I said, F it. And I started walking on the treadmill, and now I lift for 2 to 3, maybe even 4 hours a day, and just go after it and grind, you know.
Yeah, that's great, because, like, you used to be, like, super active and shit, too.
Yeah, I think once you know, sports ended and I got into regular day life and going to, you know, work every day, and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was like, why am I lifting if there's no contest? And what I realized is it's just like, you're competing with yourself every day. So it was like, if I go to the gym, if I stretch, if I do 2 main body parts, if I'm doing abs every day, like, I tire myself out. So I don't have time to be stressed. And even if I get stressed, I'll play a video game or do something to distract myself, you know. So it's just, you know, what am I going to do every day to make myself 1% better?
No, I 100% get that. Because when I first got out of high school, I stopped doing sports my senior year. Yeah. And, like, I got out and I didn't do anything. I drank a lot. I smoked a lot. It was bad. And then my wife was like, do something with your life. And I joined the military. Yeah, and that's what made me more active again. And I totally see how people can just fall off of it. It's, if you don't have something there to motivate you to do it. Yeah. And, like, that's what I kind of mean about jiu-jitsu. Like, I love jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if, like, my shoulder still hurts. Like,
do you stretch it and really take the time with it? Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And it's just like, at the end of the day, I'm not getting professionally paid to do this. Yeah. I'm not going to go stretch my shoulder out even more when I have to go do a job tomorrow. Like, I do a manual labor job. I do HVAC.
Yeah, I saw your van. I was like, oh man, this guy's doing good for himself. I was like, I'm 3 minutes away from you. I was like, I was rushing home and I was like, oh man, I gotta hurry up and eat and do this. And then I looked at the GPS. I'm like, I could have literally walked there in 10, but I was like, it's too cold, so I'll just take the car over.
Yeah, my best friend walks here almost every day. Almost every time he comes over. Yeah, he lives
right around the corner.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Come over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's just, you know, another thing for me was like, I was in a long-term relationship and I let myself get to the point where I was like, I was ditching people to hang out with the girl, and, you know, she was great and everything, and we had our differences and we went our different ways eventually, but, you know, I think I neglected to take time for myself, and, you know, I lost a lot of friends over it, and, you know, I look back and I was like, I wish I can apologize to you guys, but what I found is, like, if I'm doing the stuff that I love, eventually I'm going to find people that like those same interests. Like, exactly. Like the other day in the gym, me and this guy were doing tons of calisthenic work just on our own. And he comes over, he's like, hey man, I like what you're doing. Bigger guys doing that. And I'm not the biggest guy, but, you know, we're bigger than the people at Planet Fitness. You know, and he was like, hey, if you want to ever go hiking stuff, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I need to get out in nature and walk and do it, you know.
Actually, that's kind of why I pushed it over to today. Yeah. My brother invited me to go camping tomorrow night before we go hike. So if those of you who don't know, we're in New Hampshire, and currently it is 30 degrees out, and I'm about to go camp at a base of a mountain tomorrow night to go hike it.
Yeah, but if you don't do stuff like that, even if people think, oh, it's cold, like, so what? It's cold.
Live a little. Like, that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, like, and I was listening to this thing on YouTube the other day where it's like, no matter what problem you have, what can you learn from it? Good, you have this problem. How do we get around it? And I'm like, since that video, I've totally had a mind shift, and it's helped so much with my anxiety and my depression. And I'm just like, okay, I'm grateful that I have it because it's character building, you know? So tell me a little bit more about why you guys chose that spot and stuff. Like, why that specific spot?
For what
for the camping and the hiking? Is it just something you've never done? Do you like that spot?
So the people we're going with is my brother Billy, Trevor, and hopefully I can get him to come on the show on top of the mountain tomorrow.
He should. Why not?
That would be amazing. You know? But and then one of our buddies, his name is Sam. Mm-hmm. We're hopefully hiking the Franconia Loop tomorrow, and pretty much what it is, and this is why I have this up. Because
I was like, show me some things.
Yeah, I'll show you some things.
I thought about like how I wanted to dress coming on here because I was like, I'm gonna be on camera. What do I want to dress like? And I was like, I'm just gonna keep it kind of nicely dressed, casual. So that's why I wore the sandals. I was like, I have to kind of be kind of chill. We'll see. That's nice.
So the whole mountain like is
like that.
That's the trail.
Dude, don't break an ankle. Seriously, it's cold out.
So
it's gonna be icy.
we have like micro spikes that you put on your shoes to help you. We have our poles. Like, we have everything that, like, we went hiking.
Oh, so you're not professional, but you're professional.
Yeah, I'm not professional, but I'm professional. Like,
it's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. See, that's what I'm talking about.
So, yeah, we're hopefully going to just camp at the bottom of this tomorrow night and then hike it Saturday because that would be amazing.
Dude, breathe in the fresh air from the trees. Just get away.
I climbed Mount Tom 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really, Mr. Tom? Nice.
Yeah. So
I climbed my own mountain.
No, that's why I did it. It's one of the 4,000 footers. So there's, I believe, 48 4,000 footers in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And, like, 4,000 foot and up. And my brother started this, I'm going to call it a pilgrimage. It's a pilgrimage. To climb all 48 of them. Yes. And he was like, Tom, come with me. I'm like, no, I'm all set. I was staying in the gym.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and then he didn't have anybody go with him one day. And I was like, I'll go with you. I don't want you to go hiking alone. And, like, I like hiking.
Yeah.
But then he was like, if you want to do the taller ones, you have to, like, be in hiking shape. I'm like, I know. Like, I'm not stupid. Like, I tell people that come hiking with me. No, it's not. And so I went hiking 2 more times. Mm-hmm. And, like I said, I've gained 30 pounds. Since
but you're healthy. You feel healthy, don't you?
But, like, I can still feel the 30 pounds. Like...
Yeah, it's a little more weight to carry around, but once you get used to it, like...
Oh, but I'm not used to carrying it like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And so, like, now I'm getting more used to it.
Yeah.
And it's not that bad. And so I'm enjoying it a lot more. I'm not wanting to die as much.
When I was 260 pounds... you get to a certain point where your body just feels like a blob, and I couldn't even tie my shoes without breathing heavy. I was like, I don't want to carry this weight anymore. And losing all this weight and working on my core and just doing anything, it feels tremendous.
It's crazy that you lost that much weight. Like,
honestly, I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, what are you doing with your life? The way I look at it, and my brother's talked to me about this. He's like, if you want people to be around you, if you want to be successful, it starts with your own image, And I was like, okay, so I put the time in. I started in October. It's now, March? And I'm like 216, 215. But, I enjoyed every part of it. I looked at myself every week. I didn't try to look at the scale. And I was just like, you know what? We're making progress.
That's the trick. Don't look at the scale.
And I don't anymore. I'm like, as long as I can get my body to a low body fat percentage, I don't need to be below 200 pounds. I just care about looking good and feeling good and be able to take my shirt off in the summer. Like, wow, I can actually feel good,
Because that was the first trick for me. Don't step on the scale anymore. I used to check my weight once a week. And it's like, you're not changing once a week. Like, stop doing it. Takes time. And do you still, like, look at yourself in the mirror and still think that you're kind of heavy? Like, do you have body dysphoria? Is that what it's called?
Not as much as I used to when I first started, because I'm like, come on, why aren't we losing weight? Like, what's going on? I still look at myself and I'm like, all right. I look at it as a positive, like, okay, I know that, I still have flow in my stomach and my arms aren't as tight as they should. Like, I want to be the best looking dude around. Like, as selfish as that sounds, I want to be the most beautiful man in town. I make this joke with people. I was like, when I first started, I was like, I want to become an underwear model just to say I did it. Like, who knows if I could do that? So, as soon as I get to that point where my body looks right, I'm going to take professional pictures. I'm going to send them out. And then if I do it, I'm like, why not? Why not? So I'm having more fun with it now as I'm later into the journey. But I'm going to start running coming up. I'm going to go down to a professional store to get fitted and, add that into my regimen. So just add a little more to what I'm already doing.
Oh, that's nice.
What about you? Now that you're carrying around all this weight, what besides hiking are you going to do to, like, start getting accustomed to how you feel? And
so,
like,
I started rock climbing. Mm-hmm. Like, not rock climbing outside yet.
I saw that. Yeah, this man's really doing it.
Yeah. So that's fun. I've been going to Vertical Dreams down near
I tried that
Canal
place.
Street.
It was pretty cool.
I like it. I'm thinking about getting a membership.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, let's see, I rollerblade.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's fun.
Everybody, if you go to I have a TikTok to promote my show. It's pretty much all I do. It's fun. But I made a video out of a video of me getting knocked out rollerblading. Oh,
really?
No, it's hilarious. I love it.
Okay, first of all, you're not an OG unless you had Heelys. Can we just talk about that? I used to use my Heelys in Hannafords. My mom would be like, stop it. And I'd be like, I'm doing laps, lady. Go do your shopping.
My parents wouldn't buy us Heelys.
You know what? I had to beg my parents, and one year for my birthday, they're like, okay, fine. And then I wiped out, like, for months, and,
Right? That's the good one.
Uh-huh.
I'm all happy I did it.
You're like, yeah,
and then I get cocky, and I stand up instead of just sitting on it. Look nice. Jump, turn, knock out.
Oh! Dude.
You
knocked yourself out.
9 seconds, I was on the ground.
Did you get a concussion, you think? Yeah, you must have, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Moral defeat, like, who do I yell at?
Me. No, I knew I messed up, but I forgot I messed up.
Yeah, so you're just laying there like, why am I here?
Well, so when I got home, I actually called my wife on my way home. And I'm like, I fell, I hit my head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home. And then I called her when I got home, and I was like, I don't know how I got home.
Jesus.
And
you made it home, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, I have to ask, how did you meet your wife? Like, how did that whole thing happen?
So, we went to elementary school together.
Okay.
That's how I, knew of her.
Uh-huh.
I was in all of her classes. I believe I was in all of her classes, if I remember correctly, up to 2nd grade.
Yeah.
I got held back in 2nd grade. I got put in the class with her sister.
Yeah.
Yo, so I got held back in 2nd grade because I have a speech impediment.
Mm-hmm.
But my speech impediment is because I have dyslexia. And they didn't know I had dyslexia until high school.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That must have been difficult.
Oh, wicked difficult. Oh, yeah. And, how they found it is the craziest way. They were, I was taking a test, and my teacher called me up after the class and was like, hey, you know all these answers, right? And I was like, I think so. And she started, reading the test to me, and I was answering the questions.
Yeah.
She was like, why'd you circle B? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And she was like, let's get you tested for dyslexia. And I was like, oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
And that's how they found out I had dyslexia. But, back to my wife. And then we went to Central together.
Oh.
And, yeah.
What's her name?
Emily. Well, it was Hebert.
Oh my god, she looks familiar. Or she sounds familiar, not looks familiar. Emily.
There's a picture of her right there.
Oh my god, you know what? She goes to Planet Fitness, doesn't she?
She does.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen her around. Cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I've talked to her a couple of times. I was like, hey, I think I saw you at the gym.
Yeah, she was like, why does he look so... It was funny, because she was like, why does he look so familiar?
Yeah.
He went to Central. He was the nicest guy I knew at Central.
You know, people went back and forth, not to cut you off. Yeah, I don't want to do that, but people went back and forth, as I've gone older, oh, you were a dick, you were nice. I'm like, we were all teenagers, we were all pricks,
But, dude, you talk to everybody.
Yeah.
You were nice to, you gave everybody the time of day.
I just felt like I didn't want to be part of the popular kids because they were doing whatever, God knows, weird stuff. And, I enjoyed playing football because, I was half decent at it and, it was just something to do besides doing school. And I was just like, there's some kids that aren't fortunate enough to play football or just doing their own thing. I'm like, I want to know everybody. I want to know why you like playing chess. I want to know this.
You and Slingsby would like that.
Slingsby is the nicest person I've probably ever met. He's awesome.
He has a kid now.
Yeah, What about you?
Nope.
No kids yet?
Nope. We're trying not to.
It's not for everybody.
So I would much rather adopt.
Mm-hmm.
That's personally me. Mm-hmm. One, I don't really want to deal with baby age, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're selfish. You don't really know." No, I do know.
You're not selfish.
I was raised in a giant family. I know what babies are. I don't like babies, but now toddlers and up, I can deal with.
It's easy. You just got to put on their favorite show and just feed them and they're set.
yo, I don't want to do that. So I saw a video today from the UK. This guy before 1 year old, they were teaching the baby how to kick ball. By 1 year old, he was walking and kicking goals.
Hey.
By 3 years old, he was doing soccer drills. So like, this kid is gonna be a killer when he's older.
So I always felt like, even as I've talked to like youth, like I've always wanted to have a kid and teach him how to play sports, and like I've always been like, do I want to, wake up with them at 5 a.m. and have them overtrain and be that father that's like, okay, we need to do this, or do I want to be easy on them? Like, if you want to, when they're younger, they should explore all sports, and then when they find it, I feel like maybe that's when you focus on, okay, do you want to be the best athlete? Do you want to pursue this? Is it more for fun? I always put these things in my head. I'm like, what kind of father would I be?
So that's how actually my dad was. Growing up, when my brother was wrestling, he's 7 years older than me. I learned to walk on a wrestling mat. So
nice, dude.
Wrestling was my life. So up until middle school, until my brother was done wrestling, they were like, you're wrestling. And then once my brother was done, they were like, you can do whatever you want. If you don't want to wrestle, stop wrestling. If you want to wrestle, wrestle. If you want to wrestle during the off season, we can wrestle during the off season. But like before, they didn't let me wrestle during the off season. They were like, no, you're like doing the wrestling season and that's it. Because like I was young, they didn't want me to get burnt out. They didn't want me to like become like crazy about it. And then they wanted me to make my own decision. And it wasn't until going into high school I didn't wrestle during off season.
Gotcha.
Because I wanted to be a kid. I didn't want to have to deal with sports all the time.
Yeah.
Yep, it was.
Yeah, that's tough. I feel like wanting to please your parents and then wanting to also figure out what you want, because you don't. No kid really knows what they want. It takes even as I'm going to be 26. I'm still like, what do I want to do in life? I know I want to do real estate and stuff with it, so it's like.
I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah, man. Well, the thing is, it's like. With the market the way it is, it's just like, do I want to just get a condo, live in it for a year, let it go up in value, and then just rent it out? Do I want to get a 3-family? But the problem is with the inflation right now, I just feel like it's not the right time. So I just want to build my account, make sure my credit score is where it's supposed to be, and then, make that decision early next year, maybe, springtime.
Hopefully it drops. I'm trying to get out of here.
Yeah, but you know what? I said to myself, wow, he's in a nice area. You guys are ahead of the curve, because it's like, why do you have to have it figured out by 30? You guys already have your own apartment. It's pretty big for two people.
We got very lucky.
Yeah.
With this, so getting out when we were looking, we couldn't find anything.
Oh God.
And because like we have cats and everything was like they wanted almost like 150 for like both cats, and I was like, no.
That's wrong.
And so. My wife was like, finally, I'm just going to post on Facebook, see if anybody, knows anybody renting. And her uncle texted us and was like, hey, I'm renting. And so we worked out a deal with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's funny, because I got out of the military, I was like, I'm never living in military housing again. This was military housing back in the 70s.
Hey.
Or 60s.
Hey, it's nice. 60s. From what I can see, you decorate it the way you and her wanted. It's nice. It's nice when a couple can just have it both their ways,
Well... We came into this relationship with nothing. We got out of high school together.
Yeah.
We moved out of our parents' houses together. So we literally started with just clothes.
Yeah. That's the way to go. I feel like you appreciate things more.
Yeah,
build up together.
I love everything I have. It's hard because that the only reason why I want to move is I want more space.
Yeah, honestly, when I was watching the podcast with Zach Lansing and your other friend, Johnny, I thought this was a basement at first. I was like, oh, he's got his own basement. And then I walk in, I'm like, cool, this is actually a nice little living room setup. This is exactly what I could, see myself having, obviously minus the podcast. But
yeah, it's funny that you say the basement, because when I first came back, me and Johnny were recording in the basement.
Okay.
But then since I started having guests over, the first guest I had on, I was sitting there texting him, and I was like, how am I going to tell him my studio's in the basement?
It's in the damn basement. Just tell him straight out.
And
I was looking around downstairs. My basement's not finished.
Yeah.
There's sand on the ground, so I have like those square mats put together.
Yeah.
And then I have a green screen behind me and a table with a black tablecloth.
Yeah.
And I was down there and I was looking and I was like, no, we're doing this in the living room.
You know what? You should have just put up some beach chairs, one of those beach to block the sun, and then some Coronas, and I'm like, you could have just made it like a funny little commercial setting.
I do that.
I was like, yo, this is fire. This is what I'm talking about. Like just chilling and whatever, just talking.
No, this is one of my favorite setups.
Yeah, man, it's comfortable. You have a really nice couch, and I came in, I was like, man, I just want to sit back and just talk about whatever, just shoot the shit. So.
No, it's good.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I've been going back and forth just to change topics on, where I do want to move. And I go back and forth between staying in New Hampshire because obviously we have beaches and mountains. And then I'm like, man, I would love to go down to like Texas or Florida. And, I look at real estate down there. I'm like, it's starting to become the same. The only thing is it's like kind of warm all year round. Like it still gets to 30 degrees in Florida. I'm like, it's really just the snow that's like making me want to move because I work outside. So like.
So I lived in Texas for a little bit. I went to basic and tech school in Texas. I was there for a whole year.
Wow.
So I felt all the seasons. So Texas isn't bad. Some parts are really mosquito-y.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, mosquitoes really bad down there. But everybody down there was fairly nice. Yeah, let me get that.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I went to Texas recently with my uncle, and we went to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
In Texas?
Yeah, so they remade the house into a diner. Okay. So we went and checked it out. It was nice, but what I enjoyed most was the view in that part of Texas. And they actually had we went to this little gas station, and they had like boat launches with like actual gas pumps and stuff. And I was like, I've never seen that because I don't deal with boats. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. They had barbecue right there and everything. I was like, this is legit, I also did a cave tour.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is something new. I was like, we were literally sitting in a parking lot, and I was like, my uncle is so indecisive. Why don't we just go do a cave tour? It was hot down there, but it was just like, wow, there's like this cave is ridiculous.
They have the polar caves up in.
I've been meaning to try that out too.
Those are pretty cool. I haven't been there in a while, but I remember when I was younger, they were really cool. And I mean, my brother goes there still, and he's like, it's still really nice. So, but I also lived in the Midwest for a little bit.
What'd you think of that? How was your...
So Illinois, I lived in Southern Illinois. I lived 20 minutes east of St. Louis, 4 hours south of Chicago. So there was a lot of corn.
Did you ever grill your own corn?
So yes, I have grilled my own corn. My dad does it better. I'm not that good at it yet.
Dads are always the best cooks. You'll learn.
Yeah. Corn's hot. Like everybody's like, oh, corn's not that hard to grill.
It is.
No, corn's kind of hard to grill. And everybody's like, it's like lobsters. Everybody's like, oh, lobster's not hard to grill. And it's like, man, lobsters are very hard to grill.
It's honestly, it's just like some things when you cook them, you think it's like you said, going into it like this is gonna be easy, and then it's like the amount of prep that goes into it. Even making like bread, if you want to make it from scratch, you're like, wow, this is like
I love
an hour and an hour and a half prep time. Then you gotta let it rise, and you gotta let, you know what I mean? Like, I love cooking, but like I won't sit there for 3 hours. I want to cook something. Baking's so fun too.
Emily cooks. I bake.
Does she like when you bake, or does she like to do all the cooking?
Neither of us really like to cook.
Gotcha.
I only bake because I make edibles. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. They know. I'm very...
I had to stop because I work for Southwest.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, like, after high school, I was just like, whatever,
I started back up again after the military because I'm off of all of my medication for my anxiety and my depression. And I can sit down and eat full meals.
And just relax.
Yep.
The thing is like, I work for a federal job, so I understand why they're like, you're on big airplanes, but it's like, if you're not smoking at work, why is it a big deal?
What's different than going home and people getting completely shit-faced while drinking?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
I cut out drinking. Like, I don't smoke. I don't do anything. I literally was like, I want to take 6 months to get myself healthy, and put in 3-4 hours. Like, I legit put in that many hours at the gym every day just to get my body where I want it. Then I'll do like an hour every day.
That's impressive. That's dedication.
But I tell people it's not even to glow. It's more of like, I know what it's going to take. Like, the eating's one part of it. That's a whole nother animal. But I want to be in the gym doing 8 to 10 exercises, overtraining. I want to be the hardest worker, even in a Planet Fitness. So I know at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, I did all I could today. Even if it makes me want to crawl out of the gym.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, Planet Fitness isn't that bad of a gym.
Yeah.
Like, not every gym needs 200-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
So, like, somebody like Zach Lansing, he was talking about why he goes to his gym, and it's because they have 200-pound dumbbells. And that's because, look at him. He needs 200-pound dumbbells.
Yeah, it's all about what body you want.
Exactly. Yeah. And, like, people who go to Planet Fitness don't really need 200-pound dumbbells because they're not trying to get that.
And the thing is, it's like the whole Smith machine and free weight racks. I get where people are like, okay, it's not the same because of stabilization issues, but it's like, for me, I know I'm not going to, like you said, lift as much weight. I'm looking to get more aesthetic, so I only really go up to 20, 30, maybe even 40 pounds. Even for my squats, I'll put a 10 on each side. I'll do 12 to 15 reps, and I'll just burn out, and I'll do, like I said, 8 to 10 exercises for my legs. And by the end of it, it's like, okay, my legs are toast. So,
it's not always about weight.
It's not. It's more about the movement. And
exactly.
People don't understand that when you're young and, especially playing sports, coaches are like, okay, well, today we're going to do a PR day. And, back in the day, like, I used to lift 455 for my squat. And now, like, that plus getting injured at work, I'm like, there's no way in hell I'll ever touch maybe a 45 on each side, but that's as much as I'll do.
Yeah, my brother's trying to get me into all-natural bodybuilding.
It's not, how do I put it? I feel like it's enjoyable to a certain point, but, like, the eating is what makes it hard.
Well, so, yeah. And, like, I already have a problem with eating.
Exactly,
and that's kind of, like, one of the reasons why he wants me to do it, so I can gain weight. Because my end goal is 190. I weigh 150 right now.
And take your time with it.
That's what he's saying. He's like, we don't have to rush it. We can, like... We're not like trying, like, you're not going to be hitting professional within like 4 or 5 years. Like, no, you are going to win an amateur. Like,
you could. I mean,
and I'm like, Emily's the one that convinced me like to actually say yes. She was like, no, you can do it, like 100%.
And that's the thing. It's like I tell people, I'm like, so just to put that into some type of perspective, right? So I'm in a union at work. So like, if something bad happens. They'll have my back, but I think to myself sometimes, I'm like, why am I not trying to go to a management position or even to corporate and make more money, even if it's a risk? I'm like, if you never take the risk, at the end of your life, you're like, wow, I really effed up there. Just what could have been, So like, why don't you give it a try? Give yourself a solid year, gain the weight, see where you're at, and then decide if you want to go on a show and wear those little thongs. And I'm like, ooh, he's wearing a thong today.
So I wore a Speedo in my deployment. It's my deployment photo. I post it everywhere because I am not ashamed. And I like having fun.
I have one. I got it gifted for Christmas, and I'm like, once I get in real shape, I'll show it off.
Like, I'm pretty sure it was my profile picture for a little bit.
Look at that smile. Look at that smile.
Yeah. So, like, this is, like, me out of the military. Like, that's how happy I look. And then, MP5.
I finally shot guns, and when I went to Florida with my cousin, I was like, I've been missing out on so much.
Oh, it's not.
You guys have been together for a while,
huh? Since high school, yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, there I am. I changed my... So, funny story about that name.
I was going to ask you about that.
I originally had my name on Facebook, but then, I would go to message people that I talked to in high school, and I just wasn't getting replies, so I'm like, I'm not going to put time and effort into stuff, and not get some type of response or, just to see how people are doing. So... I was bored one day, and Michael Hugo, I don't know if you know him.
Yep.
He was bothering me, so I changed my name to his name just to mess around. And I couldn't figure out how to change it back, and I was like, well, I'm going to purge my friends list anyway. So I got rid of that, and then I was like, I'm just going to make a new Facebook. And I mean, look, you're aesthetic though. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you just packed on a little weight, you'd fill in.
Yeah, I weigh.
Look at that tattoo. Is that the Joker on your thigh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh man, tattoos are the best thing ever.
Dude, I love tattoos.
Dude, how many do you have?
So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I got this one. My sister, so I have a koi fish. My little sister came out to visit me, and she was like, "Oh, let's get tattoos." And
so she has one too?
Yeah, she was like, "How much money do you have?" And she's like, $80. And I was like,
"Oh,
that's
shop minimum."
Yeah, and I was like, "All right, let's go see what we can get." And we were like, "Let's get koi fish because we're corny brother and sister."
Yeah.
And then I have Harley Quinn.
Yeah, show me that. Enough of your damn Speedo, mister.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I was just joking.
Dude, my brother has that photo on his.
You should put it as a screensaver. Be like, hey guys, look at my brother. He looks amazing.
Let's see. I don't know if I will.
Where is your Harley Quinn?
It's on the back of my thigh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's
So you have how many
Joker,
total?
Harley Quinn, New Hampshire. 3. I have brass knuckles with a rose. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I have We the People. 8.
Yeah, so I have going down. Altogether, it's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I count the background as 1. So I got this one first, the lion.
Okay.
And when I got when I was 18, I was like, I really want to get this lion. But then I was like, I'm just too much of a chicken to get tattoos. So eventually, I was like 22, 23, and I was like, I'm going to finally do it. So I got this one. I was like, this doesn't even hurt. So I originally didn't know if I wanted color, so I just did the eyes, right? So then after that, I was like, do I want to do safari theme? What do I want to do? And eventually, that's what it became. But then I went tiger,
that's nice.
Blue, right? And then when I did the elephant, he did the purple. He did it too dark, and he kind of messed it up. But, he's an amazing tattoo artist. We just didn't know the color, so it's not really him messing it up. It's more just like, oh, whatever, it's too dark. So then elephant, and then I did gorilla.
Yeah, that's a nice gorilla.
Everybody's like, oh, look, you got one for Harambe. I'm like, no, it's just a gorilla, but I'll take it.
For Harambe.
So yeah, I stuck with the color in the eyes. The background color took forever just because, with color, he has to go twice as long. So originally it started at the bottom. He hand drew the leaves. I added flowers, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers, I think. So I just finally got the background finished.
How do I hair feel?
Oh, people say it's pretty tender and it's based on personal experience. It was probably a solid 6, maybe a 7. But like, I love the pain. So when he was like, "Oh, sorry, doesn't hurt," I was like, "No, John, just keep jabbing at it.
Keep jabbing."
And that's just me. Like, the thing with me is, it's like the mental pain hurts so much that the physical, like, if I can feel something I want to feel, then I don't give a crap. Just go for it. So I don't like taking breaks. So he's a very fast tattooer. He could probably do any of these pieces within 2 to 3 hours and do it efficiently. And I'm thankful for that because with the inflation, tattoo prices have gone up.
Yes.
So
it's funny that you actually bring up tattoos because I had Al on here, second to last. He owns Bulletproof and Jim's Tattoo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we were talking about tattoos, and he's the one that did this one. But my most painful tattoo is my Harley Quinn one on the back of my thigh.
Yeah. Pretty intense, huh?
Yeah. So at first he told me it was only going to be like 4 hours. It ended up being like 8 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Double the time?
Yeah.
Wow. And was it just not holding? Did you get color?
Yeah, I got color, but like he didn't tell me. He was just like.
So how did that go with the pricing? Like, how was that?
He kept it the same pricing, which
really,
which I was fine with because like.
Wow.
You told me it was gonna be.
Yeah. I was like, dang, okay, so if he's, the thing is, before you continue, it's like sometimes they do the piece and they're like, okay, I want to add stuff, so it's like, I wonder if it puts us in a pickle. It's like, do you want to spend more money right now, or are they gonna comp that? You know what I mean? Like, especially if they're going over.
Yo, so this one time, my Joker tattoo actually, when I went to go get that, I just told this story, so it's funny. So I found this tattoo parlor right outside of base, and I had to walk there because I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
And I walked in there and I was like, "Hey, I want to talk to the person who runs the place." And so she comes out And I was like, I want you to tattoo me. And she's like, why me? And I was like, because you care most about this place and you'll give me a good tattoo.
I've never thought about it like that, but that's pretty cool that that's a good way to look at it, actually.
And she's like, what do you want? And I was like, I want the Joker. And she's like, you're gonna laugh at this. And we walked into her studio, and all over the wall was just Joker drawings.
That's fire.
And I was like, let's do this. And so we came up with what one I wanted, and she drew it up. And Harley Quinn.
Dude, that's nice. That's really nice. Your skin holds well the color too.
It's still. So I will post another picture because I'm still in the wrapping in this one. Like I haven't that's all blood.
Really?
Yeah, that's not ink.
Oh,
that's
I thought
blood.
that was part of it.
Nope, that's blood.
Some people do those ink sacs. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's
what it is?
That's what I was doing that in what year? 2019. So y'all are late. Like it's that simple.
So how did it feel like going through the healing process? Like were you nervous?
Nope.
So it was easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to do anything? Like
nope.
As silly as that sounds, I'm curious about that.
So I did it for this one too. Yeah. And all you do is it's like the Saman map. They put it on, and you leave it on for, I think it was like a day or two, and then you take it off, and then I just use non-scented soap for like a week.
Just soap, huh?
Yep. And I kept lotion. Like I did like normal first care to it.
Yep.
But now it's fine. No problem at all.
That's you know what? To be honest with you, when I go to the gym or where I go anywhere, if I want to talk to someone or just I look at them and I look at their tattoos, that's an easy conversation starter for anybody out there. Like I'll be in the gym and I'll see someone tattoos like, hey, excuse me.
This is the type of damage I take on my tattoos. That's a sunburn. Yeah.
Look at those veins, though. Jesus.
Yeah, that was deployment, May. That was. Wow. I worked out almost every day until I started feeling disgusted. Oh yeah. It came on. It was weird. Like I just started feeling nauseous one day, and then a couple of days later, I thought I had a hernia.
Oof.
And so they tried getting me in trouble for breaking the TV because my hernia matched up with the date that the TV.
Oh my god.
And the doctor was like, no, he came in the day before.
Yeah.
And
that's annoying.
I was like, what the dude, I'm hurt. Can we worry about me and not the TV right now? And they're trying to get me an article 15 while I'm deployed. And I'm like, dude, this is terrible. And then they ended up medevacing me. And this is actually the first time I've talked about this on camera.
Yeah.
So I get to Djibouti, Africa, and they start doing all these tests, doing scans, and they're like, you don't have a hernia. And I'm like, what's going on? They're like, your lymph node is inflamed. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay.
What's the lymph node?
I was like,
excuse me?
I was like, okay, cool. I don't have a hernia. And they're like, yeah, but that's not good. I'm like, oh.
What does it mean?
And I was like, yeah, what is it? And they were like, so they help fight off diseases and infections.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, what do I have?
No, I don't.
And they were like, we don't know.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, excuse me? And they're like, oh, your tests came back negative.
Yeah, but if you know it's a lymph node, wouldn't that give you an indicator? Oh, boy, that's a pain.
And that's what I thought. And I was like, okay, so what do we do? And they were like, take these antibiotics.
Dude, they don't even... That's the thing, though. With medicine, they just... These guys come in with these briefcases and they say, sell these medicines. How do you know it works or not? I guess trial and error, but... And
so, this was just me. I looked at him and I was like, all right, if I don't take these, I'm just in pain. If I take them, I have a chance to be better. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll take them. And I took them, I went to bed, I woke up, my lymph node went down 2 times in size. And I was like, yo, I went back up to the hospital, I was like, give me more of those pills. And he was like, what? And I was like, dude, look, it went down. And he was like, oh, sweet.
Where's the lymph node again?
Yeah, no, it was I got some weird disease in Africa that nobody knows what it was.
Jesus.
And I just took antibiotics and it went away.
Wow. You're a survivor. 1 of 1. Hello.
Yeah, and my wife keeps asking me, would I go back to Africa? No, I survived that one time. I'm good.
I was gonna say, when you were talking about the hiking, I was like, just imagine if like you had an instructor up there and you guys put on the parachutes and you got to go skydiving off the top.
I want to do that.
Or base jumping.
Dude,
we gotta go. I'm going skydiving this spring or summer. You gotta come with me.
Deal. My sister said that she's gonna bring me.
Let's go. I'll go with you guys.
I'll go as many. I would love to go skydiving. Hey. I want to get a wingsuit. Yeah. Just so I can jump off of mountains. And, like, I want to be able to, like, climb up high enough and jump off of mountains and, like, just pull a chute.
So, I actually watched a story about this guy that went wingsuiting with his friend, but as soon as they jumped off, the friend crashed into...
I saw that.
And he died, and the friend had the wingsuit all the way down, just crying, sad, but maintaining. Like, that's different.
Yeah, that's a whole nother beast. I don't know. Like, I want to do that type of stuff. I don't know. I just want to live more.
People are gonna tell you no, and it's dangerous. But you know what? Walking outside on the sidewalk, driving a car, doing anything's dangerous.
That's what I mean. Like, I've done a lot of stupid things, and none of them have been fun.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like you can only do something for so long. Like, that's why I'm incorporating, some type of different exercise, like running. Because, I go to Planet Fitness every day, and I don't want to get bored, so...
Yeah, see, that's why I can't wait for it to get warmer out, so I can start rollerblading again.
Yep. I have rollerblades, too.
Dude, so I have park blades. So, when I first started, we just got trail blades. And I was like, alright, I'll make sure I can get it, so, like, we can go on some rocky trails and, like, a street. And so, I was liking that, and then... I was like, you know what? No, I want to skate. I want a skate park. Mm-hmm. And the base I was at had a skate park. Mm-hmm. And that's the vamp that I knocked myself out on.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned how to park skate. And now that we're out here, I was excited to go to the Manchester park actually, but then it got torn down. So we went to the Hooksett one. That one's terrible.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the weather kind of kills it. You know what I mean? Being cold, it destroys things.
But they're supposed to be building one in, I think, Nashua.
Yeah.
And that's not that bad.
Honestly, for me, like, I honestly did the same thing as you. Like, I took my regular rollerblades to a skate park. I went off a jump. Not a jump, a ramp, and I slammed my face into it. I did exactly, but I didn't knock myself out. And then, I tried bringing a mongoose to the skate park, and it was one of those boxes where it was like a 3-face box. Mm-hmm. I went off the side, and when I landed, so it was like boom, boom. Mm-hmm. The wheel turned when I hit the front tire, and the handlebar caught me right here. So after that, I was like, all right, no more jumping, because I literally almost lost my eye in 6th grade. And I was like, all right, I like being extreme, but I'm not that extreme. So I saw so many fights at that skate park, though. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they got rid of it.
Yeah, they put a little splash pad there, and a little soccer area.
Yeah, it's cute now.
Yeah. Oh, but do you snowboard?
Yeah, so we wanted to, but then we didn't. I don't know why we didn't. We just didn't.
Yeah.
Life.
So, obviously, like the normal snowboarding, you need the snow, but in New Jersey, they have an indoor snowboarding facility that I think it's open year round. It's not the biggest place, but I want to go check it out as soon as my back gets a little better.
Indoor snowboarding?
Yeah. It's obviously it's fake snow, or they might import, but...
I'm going to have to Google this.
But, they have the park side and the regular side, and I've never worn a helmet, which is bad to say, but, I enjoy going out there, going on the highest mountains, and just carving.
You said New Jersey?
Yeah, I think that's the one right there. So, funny story, when I first started snowboarding, I worked at McIntyre here in Manchester when I was a freshman, and there was this board with the bindings that was one piece, and I saved up all of freshman year. It was like $400, and this is when I was making like $7.25 an hour. So James Glenn, he taught me how to snowboard, right? Mm-hmm. So I started to learn how to stop. I was like, okay. So I went on the most iciest, rainiest days, and what kept me snowboarding is it's not a big mountain or anything, but I made it all the way down. Yeah. Like, I didn't stop. I made it all the way down, and I was like, okay, if I can do this on the worst, I'm gonna keep with it and spend 10 years now. So I'm like, that that dangerous situation is what has kept me going.
Do you know James Hardy?
Yeah, a little bit. But
so we used to be like best friends growing up. But he got me into snowboarding because he got a job at McIntyre.
Yep.
And he was like, hey man, I can get you in for free. You can come talk to all the hot chicks because like I was in middle school. And,
the hot chicks.
Yeah. And he taught me how to snowboard. And what kind of stopped me snowboarding, well, what kind of put me in my place for snowboarding was, you know how they had like the tubes and the jumps and stuff? Like I was hitting the tubes, I was hitting, like I was grinding. And like my first day, I was like, yeah, I'm athletic, I can do this.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh wow, look at that jump. And I went to go off the jump, and I didn't even get off the jump.
My heart for you.
I got to the top of the jump, and I didn't even get off the jump. My face went into the tip of the jump, and I just like rolled down, and everybody just looked at me, and I just like got up and just like went down the mountain. I was like, see ya.
The worst type of falls isn't even going off the jumps, in my opinion. It's more of when you go to stop and you catch an exit and your face slams right on, like it's like a quick jolt and you slam.
I think that's what. So I think when I was going up, the front of my board caught something,
it clipped it,
and it just lifted me forward, and it just sent me spiraling.
See, when I was younger, I liked doing boxes. I liked doing jumps. I was never athletic enough to like hold grabs and stuff. But like I took so many falls that I kind of transitioned into just like the regular mountain and toe tapping off little dunes and stuff. And I found I enjoyed that more because I could go fast, I could shred, and just enjoy it.
Have you ever tried board surfing?
I've never done anything besides snowboarding, but I've always wanted to like go. What the hell is it called? Surfing and doing all types of.
What's the water?
Water. I don't know.
You surf the waves, like from behind a boat.
Why
can't I?
Boat gliding.
I'm gonna Google it like that. Let's see what comes up. Gliding. Oh.
Parasailing.
Parasailing. I'm not talking about parasailing, but.
They have there's this skydiving in Dubai that's like it overlooks the water and it's like I don't know what the heck it's called, but it's really pretty. Pulled by boat. Us men are so basic. Pulled by boat surfing.
Wake surf.
That looks fun.
I was kind of close.
Not really. I've seen two people slap the shit out of their faces on that. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, I feel like an idiot. Well, I couldn't remember wake surfing.
I was trying to put it in my head too, but I was like, I don't know.
Wake surfing. Yeah. Man, this stuff, that's cool. Like, it's just like the momentum of the, like, after you let it go. Yeah. Like, it's just the momentum keeping you going.
That stuff is just like, the thing for me is too, like, yeah, it's fun to actually do those action sports, but when you get to go up on a mountain and just look out and see nothing but...
It's so rewarding.
Sometimes you're just like, I'd rather be nowhere else right now.
It's so peaceful. It's so rewarding. And, like, going up the mountain, you're like, oh, God, I hate my life. Why am I doing this? This is terrible. And then you get up there, and you're like, oh, wow, this is why I'm doing this. But sometimes there's no view. You get up there, and you're like, oh, you know what? It's not always about the destination. It's about the journey.
Have you ever gone snowboarding or anything, like, by yourself?
No.
That's a whole different experience, like just going up, you're on the lift by yourself. It sucks when it gets stuck, whatever, but you go to the top like, all right, well, I don't need to wait for anybody. Like, it's a different type of fun when you experience things by yourself and you just put the music in and you're shredding. You're like, all right, this is a different type of euphoria, like just being out there by yourself.
So me and Zach went to a concert a couple weeks ago together, Fit for an Autopsy, but we didn't even like see each other for the entire show.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
Like, I was like, yo, it was a Thursday night. I had work the next day, and I was like, yo, I'm not going in the mosh pit. Like, this is gonna be like an intense mosh pit, and I have work the next day. Like, you don't have work, so you can go have fun, and I'm gonna like chill and listen to music. And he was like, oh, okay, sweet, I don't care. And
he's freaking huge.
Yeah. And so, like, I stood up on the balcony of the Palladium, and I just listened to heavy metal, and I'm going to say it, I vibed. Like, I was just sitting there vibing to heavy metal, and I was just like, I need to go to concerts alone more often. Because, like, I went with him, but, like, I was alone the entire time.
Could you imagine Zach Lansing? Like, I look at him like he's so big and a ball of muscle, just jumping off from the stage into those skinny little people. Imagine the mass.
So,
like,
I've been in a mosh pit with him.
Yeah.
I was in Dropkick's mosh pit with him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. So before the pit, these people walked up to us and they were like, "Wow, you want to get in the pit with this guy?" And I was
absolutely.
Like, and I looked at him and I was like, "This guy should be afraid to get in the pit with me." And Zach looked at me and he was like, "No, I actually kind of am getting like into the pit with you." And
he's a beast.
And like, we ran into each other like full forward, and like we're both just at like that's what the pit
that's
is.
Awesome.
It's great. I love the pit.
It's nice to be carefree sometimes and do things like that, you know.
Yeah. I broke my glasses. They got lopsided, and now they don't sit right.
Yeah, but it's the experience. And the memory.
Yeah, and I don't know why I was wearing my glasses. I don't need glasses, to, pit, but I had them on.
So was it an outdoor concert? Or was it no? You said this was a couple weeks back, so it was inside, right?
Yeah, it was at the Palladium in Worcester.
Okay.
Worcester.
Yeah, I've actually never been to a concert, and I was supposed to actually. It's not a concert, but I love opera, right? Mm-hmm. So I was gonna go see Andrea Bocelli in Boston, but I ended up not going, and I really regretted it because I was like, I just want to be in that atmosphere, just like being able to sit there and just listen to the actual person I listen to all the time sing it in person, So I gotta definitely start doing stuff like that.
So I've been to a couple concerts.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Riot Fest in Chicago.
During the summer? Or?
It was during the summer.
Yeah.
That was unreal. But the most recent concert I went to was Tool. And I'm never gonna see a concert better than this in my life. And I'm 100% happy I saw them, but I'm sad I saw them too because the experience. Like, I sat there the entire time. I was just in awe.
That's the best feeling in the world.
Like, so Tool, they don't have like a lead person. The whole time they play behind a curtain.
Really?
And they have like a projection on the curtain. That's
definitely different. And you said it was the best concert you've been to, huh?
Ever. Oh yeah. And like my brother says the same thing. Like,
that's an interesting. It's kind of like recycled percussion, not like them, but like to be able to play on just like random like cans and stuff like. What are you looking for?
The remote.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna turn that off. There you go.
So like when they open up, there's like, this is from the side, so you can't see the curtain. But they play just like projections behind them the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you don't even like pay attention to them playing music. Like the visual show. Oh man. Right here.
So it's more of a visual show.
Oh, 100. Well, it makes you feel everything. Like,
so you said they were heavy metal, right? Or is that a...
Tool is not heavy metal, no.
I've never heard of that band, so I don't even know what kind of music they do.
You know what?
You sure you want to put the music...
A little bit.
Yeah, I don't want you to get,
So, like, see, like, the fog and stuff? That's what you see the entire time.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And, like, they have they put the best laser show on. It's...
Dude, that's cool.
But, like, they have... But they have... The drummer makes all of this himself.
Really?
He was actually... He worked on the dinosaurs.
Where's my water? Oh, thank you.
Yeah. He worked on the dinosaurs for Jurassic Park.
Really?
Yeah.
They're actually coming out with another Jurassic Park with like the originals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah.
That's gonna be fun. I'm excited for that.
Can we talk about what we think Robert Pattinson's gonna do in this new Batman movie? Like,
I hope it's good.
I heard he went to a different... Like, I heard those guys that play like Batman and the Joker, they go to like a different place for these roles, you know?
You have to. And that's why I liked Heath Ledger so much, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But with Robert Pattinson, so from everything I read, because I haven't seen it yet.
I'm so excited to see it.
Everything I read, it was saying the only reason why it wasn't rated R was because the language wasn't strong enough.
You know what? That just upsets me. It's like, just make the damn movies rated R. Like, when it comes to Deadpool, that has to stay rated R. He said he wouldn't play, Ryan Reynolds wouldn't play it anyways, but like, when you make those type of movies, even like Morbius that's coming out, that has to be rated R. Like, they're killing people, they're talking shit to each other, like, that has to, you gotta take it there.
I think almost every superhero movie should be rated R.
Yeah. Peacemaker was a great show. I'm glad that
I
was
refuse to watch it.
Why?
I don't like John Cena. And
he is phenomenal in that.
So...
He's so good in that.
I don't like John Cena for this reason and this reason only. I 100% believe Taiwan is a country. He came out after saying Taiwan was a country and fully apologized to the Chinese government in Mandarin, saying how Taiwan's not a country. And just for that reason alone, I won't watch it. You know, like, I don't have to go out of my way to not watch stuff with John Cena. I don't have to change my life.
I get it. Listen, I perfectly understand. I think, like...
I don't boycott anything except for that.
I think when it comes to certain things like political stuff, like you just can't get involved in that unless you're like legit a politician, because it's like you say anything on the internet, it literally will kill your whole like acting career or anything. Like that's why like if I was a famous person and I got asked that, like respectfully, I have to decline that question. Like it's just not
like at some point you just need to know not
to
talk. And like I don't care if like I put my stance on Taiwan out there because like. If this does blow up, I talk to people. Who cares? Like, what my opinions are. Because the show's not about me.
It's about
me talking to you and the experience this is and what, like, I learn about you and what other people can learn from you.
You know, like, you see a lot of news outlets and you see all different types of opinions. Like, you have all different types of sides. And the way I look at it is like, these people get in these positions from doing dirty things. Like they're not perfect individuals, and the way I look at it is like I'm not taking a side. Like I might have an opinion on something, but I keep it to myself because you don't want to go flaunting your opinion and like trying to make people feel your way, and like it's just too much effort to sway people a certain way, and like that's why like just keep it to yourself. I mean, like I said, unless like your job is to like be a politician, like I don't know.
Yeah, I've been thinking about trying to get some of New Hampshire's politicians on here.
Yeah, that might be a tough one. That's hard.
I reached out to the Libertarian Party because I don't like how there's only a two-party system. And so I was like, you know what? Let's see if I can reach out to the lower parties and see if I can get somebody on. They're like, oh yeah, we have somebody, and then they never answered me.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Honestly, like.
That's how it goes with everything.
This is going to sound silly, right? So, I'll walk into Bath & Body Works because I love that place, right?
Mm-hmm. It smells good.
And my thing is like, there's only this small little section for men. And you go to any store, like, I understand that women shop more than men and they like their clothes, but like, I go in these stores and I'm so depressed. I'm like, we like clothes too. We want to make it as an easy experience as possible. We want variety, right? So I actually did some digging and I found like the CEO's information and I emailed him. I was like, get back to me if you can. And of course he didn't. But I was like, I have ideas on how to fix stuff. And if you don't try, you don't know. And in this case, it failed. But I was like, why don't you like make this section like not, 50-50, but at least 35-40%. Because, men like to smell like apples too. We like to smell like clouds too.
So, I actually use Dr. Squatch.
I've heard good things about them.
So, I actually don't, like, when I first saw their ads, they were like, oh, you won't feel like slimy, like, after using our stuff. And I was like, I don't feel slimy after using body wash. And so, but, like, I started using it, and, like, I just felt so much better.
Did your skin feel, like, more, like,
So I got
hydrated.
Like, I've never used anything exfoliating before.
Yeah.
And so all of my soap now is exfoliating soap.
Exfoliating, yeah.
And like I didn't know it was a thing. Like when I first started using it, I yelled out to Emily. I was like, "Why is my soap so like sharp? Like why is it hurting?" And she was like, "Because it exfoliates you." And I'm never going back. I love it. It's great.
Honestly, like my thing is too, like if I'm going out, I have to smell good, no matter where I'm going. Even if I'm in sweatpants, like first thing I do in the morning is take a shower. Obviously, if you work out, you take another shower. But like I take like 3 showers a day. Even if that's obsessive, and I have to make sure my deodorant's on, my cologne, like, it's just, you have to present yourself well. You never know. I always tell my sister, what if I meet my baby mom in Walmart? I'm like, I want to go to Walmart and meet my baby mom. And she laughs at me like, you never know where you're going to meet the love of your life. Like,
you never know.
You know, and I thought I had the love of my life, and it didn't work out, whatever. But, you know, I'm still young, so... There's so many more fishies in the sea.
Exactly, and that's what you gotta keep remembering, that there's not just one person.
And the thing I learned too is like I don't try anymore. Like if I make contact with a woman and like I know she's looking at me and I'm looking at her, I might go over and say hi, I might not, but they know I'm looking at them. So like the thoughts in their head, like, does he like me or not? So it's kind of like a cat and mouse game that I don't over pursue it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of posts lately of girls complaining, like like they'll tell a guy no, they're not interested, and the guy's like, alright, cool, and like they'll start messaging them, and they'll be like, why hasn't like he messaged me back?
That happened to me a couple times. That happened. Go ahead.
Like,
sorry.
No, like they ask us to like respect like their decision,
yeah.
and, like, and it's like, alright, we'll respect it, and then we stop and like they stop answering them, and it's funny.
So like for example, I know I talk about the gym all the time, but that's literally my life. There was these couple different girls, like I would message, like I would talk to them, hey, how you doing, blah, blah, you want to go hiking, make conversation. And there was this one where I was just like messaging, and then, you know, she didn't get back to me, so I was like, okay, she's not interested. But then like every time I come into the gym, she tries to say hi to me and stuff. I'm like, what's this mentality now? Like where like, and then it happened with another one too, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to catch on to these girls where, like, they might have multiple people trying to contact them and they're trying to wait out this and that, but I'm not going to go chasing you. Like, if you want to talk to me, that's fine, but don't expect me to come out here and keep trying to press on you, like, hey, what's going on? Like, if you don't respond to me, that's it. Like,
yeah. Why are you going to put forth more effort?
And as I get more in shape, I'm like, well, you weren't there when I was fat and blobby. Like, don't expect you to be there when it's different, you know? I don't know. It's a funny world we live in, so... Plus, that's another reason, too, like, skydiving. The one I wanted to go to, it was like, you have to be 225. That's the limit. I was like, I'm nowhere near that. I want to go skydiving. Like, I need to lose this weight.
Why do you have to be... I mean, I guess I get it.
I don't know. They were weird.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't, like... It's just the parachute rating.
Yeah.
Because I feel like after a certain amount, the parachute has to be so big. Because, like, even... This is going to be, like, an outrageous comparison. Like, don't get me wrong. But, like, a person jumping out of a plane needs a smaller parachute than a tank getting dropped out of a plane.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, like, I feel like after a certain weight, the parachute needs to be bigger.
I just know for me, I always make the joke. I was like, I want a girl instructor because I don't want a guy poking me in the back. You know what I mean? Like, just something stupid like that. I'm like, please just be one of those in shape, huge woman, not in terms of like body composition, but just be strong so you can hold me. That's all I ask.
See, at this point in my life, I don't really care if you're a guy or a girl. If you're gonna save my life, save my life.
Oh my god, I know.
You can straddle me however you want. If you're gonna make sure I'm alive, do whatever you need to do.
Just imagine he's like, hey, do you feel me back there? I was like, I feel you, and I want you to get away from me.
I'm awake, thank you. I'm awake. You woke me up.
So, if we can we switch over to more like, now that you're trying to gain weight, what's your diet like? What are you eating?
Everything.
You're on the seafood diet?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I the only thing that I've done more of is I've intaked my protein.
Mm-hmm.
And so like before, like, I ate a lot of snacks.
Yeah.
Now I just eat a lot of snacks with a lot of protein.
Oh, peanut butter is my favorite. I'll slap that
on. I get these Nature Valley oatmeal peanut butter bars, and those have like 10 grams of protein in it per serving. And then I have this chocolate milk Fairlife.
Mm-hmm.
Every serving is 13 grams of protein.
So you're measuring out.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I get Greek yogurt. That's 15 grams of protein. In the morning, I'll eat eggs.
Whole eggs, or do you do egg whites?
Whole eggs.
Okay. Yeah.
Why should I just do egg whites? I thought yolk was good for you.
Well, in terms of you, like, you're trying to bulk, so like, whole eggs. It depends. Like, some people don't like the yolk. Some people do. Like, I don't know. I'm not too like detailed into like health, but I'm like kind of conscientious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want the yolks, go get the yolks. You know what I mean? Like, I do both.
Okay.
You know.
I've never understood I know the yolk has more protein in it.
Yeah, it's just extra calories and.
Yeah, and that's what I need. I need all the extra calories.
So people, I think that's like a misunderstood subject with the eating. It's like, how do you eat 3,000 healthy calories compared to just eating 3,000 calories? And, you know,
that's the trouble.
And
the word healthy.
but the thing is, for me, like, I'll use my protein powder and put it in my yogurt, and like, it's a Fruity Pebble one, so like, it's like a cheat meal.
Okay.
So I'll put, like, for breakfast after my workout, because I do like fasted workouts sometimes, I'll do like 3 whole eggs, like half a cup of egg whites, chicken on wraps with fat-free cheese. I use a lot of fat-free, sugar-free stuff. And then I'll do like a protein powder, use like an unsweetened almond milk, cinnamon, peanut butter, like a protein cereal, and I'll make that into like a mush, and it just tastes like a cheat meal. So I think, like, for a lot of people, to make it easier, if you find something you like in terms of fitness, stick with it and just add stuff to it, you know? Like, in terms of, like I said, with the protein powder, it makes it easier because it's a Fruity Pebble flavor.
Yeah,
I could eat that every meal. Like, I'm obsessed with that breakfast meal right now. Like, I won't change.
My protein shake that I'm using right now, after my workout, I use whey protein. But it's vanilla ice cream.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it?
And I use my 13 gram protein chocolate milk with it, and I add 2 ounces of water to it. Oh. So it's a total of like 14 ounces of liquid, and then whatever the scoop makes it. And it tastes like a milkshake. It's delicious.
Do you find yourself getting to a point, you know, because you're obviously working out every day, where you're like, I just don't want to eat anymore. I can't do it. Like, it's making... I'm so full already, I don't want to.
I smoke too much weed for that.
Okay, so you found something.
That's how it kind of counteracts it. Like, I get the munchies too much, too. Because, like, so if I'm not on call... Yeah. I'll come home, and, like, I have a killer headache by the end of the day.
You get a lot of migraines?
They're not migraines, because like migraines, they're more physical. Yeah. Like migraines are like behind your eyes. Like, no, I just get like headaches. Mm-hmm. And so like I'll come home, I'll smoke a little bit, and then I'll eat then I'll obviously get the munchies, and then I'll end up eating my yogurt, and then my granola bars, and then by the time Emily gets home, it's dinner time, so then I'll smoke a little bit more, and then before I go to bed, I'll just smoke a little bit more to fall asleep.
You know, and I think it's great that the community, like just the world in general, is starting to be more understanding of it, because it's like, why is it that a plant that's made from the earth is being looked at as so incriminating?
And it has so many usage. It's not even like just like the pot, like the smoking portion.
A lot of illnesses it helps with.
Hemp?
Yeah.
I use hemp for my eczema. I have hemp lotion in my bathroom. I use it on my eyebrows because I have eczema on my eyebrows and on my...
It gets itchy, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the hemp helps keep it down. Hemp rope and hemp paper are better. Hemp rope is like 10 times stronger than regular rope. Yeah. And hemp paper is cheaper to produce. And that's why they don't do it, because they can't charge
Yeah.
They can't charge you for it because it's not as expensive.
And that's the thing. I think the biggest thing was like, I don't know if it was more so like they didn't want it. It was more like they didn't know how to tax it or regulate it. You know, for the longest time, they're like, we think it's bad, but, you know, now that the government's getting their chunk, I think that they're like, okay, whatever, as long as you're not, like, operating a vehicle. Yeah. And I know some people drive while they're high. I mean, I get, like, you get high, but, like, I wouldn't do that, but, you know.
No more.
As long as you're not driving or doing anything that could cause an injury to someone else, go ahead, like, why not?
So, this is a very controversial opinion that I'm going to throw out there because I love it.
Let's see.
I am one of the people that believe that you shouldn't be able to make drugs illegal.
If in terms of, like, a cocaine or, like...
Everything. So, like, if you're going to let people choose to sit here and drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes, why can't somebody do cocaine? If somebody can be an adult with alcohol, and tobacco, why can't somebody be an adult with cocaine? If the government made everything legal and then they regulated it and they did the tests and they made sure everything was clean and, like, they sold it like they sell marijuana in, like, Colorado and stuff, people wouldn't be overdosing as much because it would be clean. It wouldn't be mixed with fentanyl.
I think that's a tough thing to do because you have all these different crime organizations already pushing so much. Like for instance, Pablo Escobar, right? Mm-hmm. Like he made billions of dollars, but he also worked with the United States government to get it out there. That's a very controversial thing. Like, if people actually look into it and do their research, they'll see how messed up the government really is in terms of, you know, drugs, right? They were part of the problem, and they're saying this whole war on drugs. But if you really wanted to regulate something, you'd really have to have the type of environment where, like, if you do want to do certain hardcore drugs, then you'd only be able to do it in this certain area because...
Makes sense.
You know, like, in terms of, like, a weed or, like, something that'll chill you out, like, you could just sit there and watch TV and be fine, but if you're on something like cocaine that's going to keep you up and get you anxious, you're going to want to take out that energy, so, like, you can't just be sitting here like, I'm going to do cocaine right now and watch a TV show. You're probably going to want to go run a marathon. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you were to regulate these things, that's just hard, you know?
But, like, what's different than, like, pretty much what's going on now? People are just doing it illegally. And, like, you've seen, like, Elm Street, like...
Yeah.
You have... And so, what's different than, like, even having, like, an area or, like, a center for people to do it? Like, you buy it, and then you have to do it in the center.
I believe that, like, in terms of drugs, if you get arrested for whatever reason, and it's not anything, like, that's harming someone else, and you, like, say you get arrested for doing cocaine, they shouldn't throw you in jail. They should try to bring you to, like, a certain area or place where they can help you get through it.
Like a rehab center.
Not even rehab. Just so, like, okay, we know you're on drugs. We're going to bring you somewhere where you can just calm down for a couple hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just look at butterflies and...
It's funny that you say that. So, I was watching a documentary the other day about... This is going to sound terrible. I forget the country. It was like a short documentary. It was like a 15, 20-minute documentary about what they do to people like that do drugs. And it's because drugs aren't criminally illegal there. Yeah. Like, you get arrested, you get fined, but it's not like you don't do hardcore jail time for it.
Yeah.
The first time you get thrown in jail, okay, cool, until you're sober, and then they let you out. The second time, you get a fine. The third time, they have your family show up and they do a intervention.
That's kind of like the prison systems around the world where, like, even, like, people that committed murder, they still, like, they have the prison system, but they kind of integrate them back into a certain type of society where they're like, okay, you can get a degree, you can do this stuff, but you do have to come back. And it's like an actual, like, little apartment. Where, like, because, yes, they did something horrible and they should go away from it, but if you put them in a place where they literally become, like, a little nocturnal animal, it kind of, like, messes with their psyche and, like...
And especially if everybody else in there, like, is doing the same exact thing, and then they get out and like the guards are sitting there yelling at them. They're tense all the time.
Yeah,
and like
it just makes for an overall better experience if you teach them how to reintegrate themselves, even if they never get out, which they shouldn't if they murder someone for the wrong reason. But
for the wrong reason, yeah.
Like if someone murders someone just to murder someone, right? I don't think they should be released, but I don't know if I necessarily believe they should just sit in a hole. I think that we should figure out why they felt that way, how to address it, and then give them some type of structure.
Yeah, I mean, it would all depend, again, like, find out why they did it.
Yeah.
Like, if it's something with their
it's kind of controversial what I just
said,
but...
No, it makes sense. Because why are we gonna, like... I don't like people just sitting there wasting away while my tax money sits there and pays for it.
Yeah.
Like, if this person can somehow be a member of society, whether that be, like, helping pick up, like, highways, and, like, people hate that.
Yeah,
people hate the idea, like, oh, chain gangs, and, like, but, like, they're being productive members of society. They're not just sitting in a jail rotting away.
That was kind of like, okay, there was this kid, I think his name was Khalif Browder.
Mm-hmm.
He got arrested for stealing a backpack, which later on they found out it wasn't even him. But he always told people he was innocent, and the people that said it was him, they couldn't even recount if it was him or not. So people knew he was innocent, but they literally put him in solitary confinement for like, I think it was 700 or 800 days, right? It effed him up completely. And there were these 3 judges that came in to kind of close these cases, and they're like, well, if you say you're guilty now, we can let you go. And he just wouldn't. And then it messed him up, and then he eventually took his own life. But I'm like, even small stuff like that, he was innocent, and they left him in a hole.
You should look up the Innocence Project.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
I just, like, it's just a weird justice system. Like, you could take 2 people that do the same crime, and one of them will get out, and one of them won't. It's like, I don't know. That's weird.
So, this guy has been... One of the spokesperson has been on Joe Rogan a couple times for this. And they help people who are on death row, who are innocent, prove that they're innocent. Like, they help exonerate them.
You know, there was a story, right, where these 2 hunters, I just watched it with my parents yesterday. There were 2 hunters on this guy's property. They got shot and killed. Everybody thought it was the homeowner, right? Mm-hmm. The lady said that she saw him around 9 o'clock. The murder happened around 6. Then when the people that came from the cold case, they got her to pretty much change her story. Said she saw him at 6. Then she said she saw him at 5:30. She was the only witness. It was all circumstantial evidence, no hard evidence. And the next state over, there was this guy known for going into woods and killing hunters, right? And he would have had time to come commit that murder, right? But the problem is like he was like pretty much like being cocky, saying maybe I am the one that did it. Like he was kind of like one of those idiots. Yeah. So he kind of got himself thrown in jail. But I'm like, how even then did he get himself thrown in jail when he went hunting with the buddy, the guy that they said the time he said he committed he committed the murder. Sorry, he was with the guy at a Burger King like at the time of the murder. So it's like they didn't really have any hard evidence, but they threw him in jail pretty much off of his own cockiness. And I'm like, circumstantial evidence, yeah, even if he's cocky, how can you still throw someone in jail with no hard evidence? That's just wild. Like, I suck at explaining things. I'm over here like,
I've heard of a couple things like that. And one of the ways that, like, they get false reports from people is, like, okay, Eddie, put this in perspective for you. I'm a white male.
Yeah.
I get pulled over by the cops, I still panic.
I put my hands like this.
So do I.
Officer.
I keep my hands on top of the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I do not move, and I keep eye contact with the cop. And everybody's like, oh, what do you have to worry about? Huh. And it's like, he is as nervous as I am when he walks up to my door. Like, he doesn't know what he's walking up to. I could have a gun pointed at him underneath my car. Like, I don't, because my hand's on top of my steering wheel. But, like...
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for both parties. Like...
And it's... But, like, I'm not nervous around cops. Like, in my car.
Now imagine if I was in an interrogation room and they're like, "You did this."
I'd be like, lawyer, ooh.
Always lawyer.
You know what I would do? I'd be like, I'd pretend like I was gonna tell him some nonsense. I'd have him bring me like this beautiful steak, medium well, because I don't like my steak raw. And I would eat this steak, and they're like, "You ready?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm ready for my lawyer. Thank you."
Lawyer up. Always lawyer up.
Yeah, it's very easy to incriminate yourself, especially if you've been there for 12 hours of them hounding you. I'll just say, I'm just gonna take a nap. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, little food, little water. You'll say just about anything.
Yeah, that's why like I learned a lot even from watching these shows. It's like you really do just want to be quiet. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what the military taught me in those situations. If you're being interrogated, you're just like, bare minimum, this is my name.
My name is... We know your name, well, I'm going to state it anyways.
Yep. Thomas Book.
So, I always wondered, right, like, usually you have to get people's permission to be on, like, a show. Like, do they get paid even though they go to jail to be on these shows? Like, how does that work?
Like
the people that...
Straight?
Like, Scared Straight, not even Scared Straight, like, the first 48, you know how, like, they catch murderers and, like, they interrogate them? Like, and when does it become not a right?
I think it's because it's public record.
Yeah, but it's still a show, right?
Yeah, but, like, if those police documents, like, if anybody can go to the store, because we're talking about buying stuff. Go to the like police office and be like, "Hey, can I have these records?"
Yeah.
Because I did it. I was gonna have somebody on that was in a car accident, and like this car accident was terrible. Like
really?
the story that he told me, and I didn't believe it. And so he was like, "Here's the like police office information that like had everything," and I emailed them and I was like, "Hey, can I have this report?" And they're like, didn't even ask me any follow-up questions. They just emailed me the report.
Yeah, but in terms of like video, them being on a video, you know what I mean?
See,
like it is public record, but when do they say, well, you got convicted of the murder, like we're just gonna air it anyways, like don't like. I feel like I guess since it's like it's like you're getting in trouble, maybe that's different. But like, what about even that live police show where they literally take you
live PD?
Yeah, maybe it's just like that where they're like, okay, well you're in public, so.
See, for that, I don't know, because, like, people I think they can only do it in certain states.
Yeah.
Because I know in certain states you cannot record people without their consent or without them knowing.
Yeah, but isn't it more of like, since you're in public, does it matter?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I've looked this up because I was going to do this.
Because I see those people go around to different parts of the U.S. and they have their cameras all like, you're in public so we can film you. Like, I don't even at airports, like technically they don't want you to, but you can because it's public. So it's like, isn't that more of like a gray area where they're like, I don't know. That's why I don't mess with it. Like if I'm in public weird. And someone videos me, like, okay, well you want to see my Aquaman Walmart looking face?
Yeah. No, I just. If I ever see somebody like recording around me, I just keep doing what I'm doing.
I mean, we get recorded at stoplights, we get recorded everywhere, so it's like no different. It's just someone might be a weirdo or just I don't know.
I'm used to being recorded all the
time.
Yeah,
I mean, this honestly doesn't bother me. Like I was more worried about looking into the camera too much, but like, hey guys, and there's like nobody on the other end.
Everybody is like that when they come on. When they get off, they're like, oh yeah, it's. I thought it was going to be different. It's like, yeah, everybody thought it would be. Yeah. And then you show up and it's like, wow, I'm just in your living room.
Yeah, it's comfortable. Like
you have a microphone and you're recording with your phone. It's like yeah.
I don't know. I feel like for me, like even when things feel like they're going to get boring, something in my brain just finds something to talk about. Like I've never been someone to just like sit here for 5 minutes and just okay. Like
it's a normal conversation and like, it's just never ending. It's
like
nice.
Something as silly as like when did you decide to grow out your hair? Like what's up with the beard? Look, Brian.
So the hair, I started growing it out when I got out of the military, and same with the little goatee. I can't grow a beard; it doesn't connect yet.
You got to get one of those derm rollers. You know what those are?
Do they actually work?
So I could not grow a goatee for the longest time. Like there was literally a space, and it's not filled in, but it literally opens up the pores so the collagen can come through, and it allows it to. It's not going to speed anything up, but sometimes those pores get trapped with whatever. Like it just closes.
Like I've seen them, but I was they can't work.
It takes a long time because hair only grows so fast. But like I've noticed like over a couple months, like back like this was like a year ago I did it, and now my goatee actually grows in, and now it's just filling in this area.
But
so patchy. I'm like, ugh.
But I just like at first I got sick of having to shave every day and get a haircut every 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, me too. It's so expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, $15 every time I get a haircut.
It used to be that, expensive, and now they're charging like
nowadays
$25-$30, and then you're obligated to do a tip because you don't want to be a jack.
I mean, I only go to Stanley's, and I personally know everybody at Stanley's. Yeah. So like when I tip them good because like
they take care of you.
They take care of me. Like they're my buddies. They're my friends. Like it's just what we do.
Be like, do you want a shoulder massage while you're back there?
But my hair, I was cutting every now and again, and then I was like, you know what? Let's grow it out. And I've been growing it out, and everybody's like, you need to cut it. And I'm like, no. And they're like, why? I'm like, it makes me happy.
Make sure you use your hair products.
Yeah, I do. I shampoo and I condition not every day.
Do you brush it and make sure it's good?
Yeah. I brush it every day, every morning and every night.
How often do you go in for a trim?
I haven't yet.
Yeah, you gotta, because with mine, like if I don't wash it every day, but like I have the type of hair where it gets greasy fast, so like I really have to make sure I leave the leave-in conditioner. I have to brush it out every time I shower, maybe 3-4 times a day, like, and then every 3-4 months go for a trim. I gotta do a treatment. Like it's a lot of upkeep, but I just feel way better with long hair.
It looks amazing.
Honestly,
I think I want my hair that long.
Honestly, guys, like I love it. Like as stupid as that sounds, like I had it down to here, but I had to trim it, and it makes me sad. But I'm like, it's gonna grow even faster now. So it's just
I like my hair that long. I think it's like down. This is the longest my hair has ever been.
And as shallow as this is. You know how many girls like guys with long hair? It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I get so many looks. I'm like, is it the hair? Do you actually like my smile? You know what I mean? Like, what is it, ladies? Like, who knows?
See, it's funny because my wife keeps telling me to cut my hair.
No.
She's like, but maybe she's telling me to cut my hair because the girls like it.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, every person has their insecurities, and like, no matter.
Maybe she's afraid I'm gonna get better hair than her.
Dude, I think that's a real fear for females, because I have some better hair than some females, and I'm like, just take care of your hair. That's all you have to do, And then one day, not even talking about hair, I randomly was like, I want to get my ears pierced, and then I did that, and I'm like,
I used to.
I feel so good now.
Yeah, I used to have my ears pierced.
Was it the military that made you get rid of them?
Yeah.
You still have the holes?
Yeah. Yeah, and then one day, I was just bored sitting at home while I was still in the military, and I was like, and I went into my wife's, jewelry box, and I took out her earrings, and I popped them in.
Hello, ladies!
and they were little pizza ones, like little pieces of pizza. Yeah. And I walked downstairs, and she just looked at me, and she's like, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, I re-pierced my ears. And
don't worry about it. Go home, get out. Wait, we are home.
And she's like, you pierced your ears again? I'm like, yeah. Like, I just reopened them.
Yeah.
And she was like, and you use those dull-ass pizza earrings.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
I actually, I got mine done, I think it was the last day of October, the first day of November, but I had the little studs in, and you're supposed to leave them in for so long, but I got antsy after 2 weeks, and I put these in, and I've had them in ever since, and I've loved the hoops ever since, so it takes forever to heal. Like, I still, it's not like it hurts, but I can still feel it healing, so.
My sister pierced my ears back when I was in high school.
Yeah, I was like, nope.
we did it in her living room. First she just took an ice cube, 2 ice cubes, put them on both sides.
Yeah.
And then took an apple in the earring and just pierced my ear with the earring until I hit the apple. And called it a day.
Nice, man. At least you didn't have to pay for it. It's expensive to get your ears pierced. I was like, $80 for that and a stud? Like, ugh.
$80.
Yeah, it was something like that. So it was probably more towards 60, but I had to make it a little more dramatic. With inflation.
That.
So
Inflation's everything.
So I'm looking around here and I'm noticing you have quite a bit of Marvel stuff. What's your favorite Marvel movie up to this point?
So, Marvel movie.
Or character. Let's go character.
So, I'm not actually a Marvel fan.
Really?
I'm a DC fan.
What?
So,
I'm
a DC comic fan.
Oh yeah, the comics are good.
I'm a geek.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So I'm not a nerd. I'm a geek. There's a difference.
There is a difference. Yeah.
But my favorite comic book character is Nightwing.
Really?
It used to be Batman up until the giant Batman crave.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I just can't be in the same. I just can't do this. I try talking to people about Batman and they don't know what they're talking about.
That's kind of me. I never really read the comics, so I watch the movies and I'm like, I'm missing out on so much because I don't read the comics.
And so I was just like, you know what? I need a new person.
Yeah.
And I tried reading Marvel. Marvel's too light.
Yeah.
How they film DC movies is how they write DC comics. How it's dark and gritty.
But people don't like the DC movies. People hated Aquaman. And I'm like, I loved Aquaman.
So that's because Warner Brothers sucks. So if they just let DC make the movies that they want to make without stepping in, it would be...
Well, James Gunn is a great director, and I feel like he's filming Guardians of the Galaxy on Marvel side, but if he were to come over to DC and take over some of that, I don't know what
he's supposed to be.
The thing is I don't know what he's filmed, if he's filmed any DC, but I feel like if he came over to DC, even with the Peacemaker, which you didn't watch, that was so gritty, it was funny.
Titans, it's also on HBO.
Titans? What is that about?
So remember the Teen Titans?
Oh, really?
So it's live action.
Ooh.
And if I remember correctly, the first scene, it opens up with Robin throwing his R's into people's eyes, into his necks, blood squirting everywhere.
I was actually talking about violence. I actually just watched the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
Dude, that was they took it. You've seen those movies, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen the new ones.
So they took it from more how they have the car full of people, they get stranded. They took that and they put way more people into the setting to get killed and stuff, and it was the way they ended it was whoa, that movie was gory. It was a true rated R. It wasn't scary because we're older, they're fake, but it was gory, and I was some of the way the way they killed, there was this one girl that just got slit across the stomach and all her guts fell. I was that's just creative. You don't see weird kills like that. It's usually just the neck kill or they get stabbed, but it was
Did you see the new Mortal Kombat movie?
I didn't. I love Mortal Kombat.
It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
Listen, GarageBand is play me, please. Same old song and dance.
It's just detecting feedback. Nothing major.
Dude, I don't even understand all of this, but it does look pretty interesting when you.
I don't understand any of it either.
Yeah, but you're still learning.
Oh, 100%. Every time I set GarageBand up, it's a struggle.
Yeah, but that's part of the process. You start something and then nobody knows jack shit, and then as you go along, you learn quite a bit.
Yeah, my brother is the one that has been teaching me. So, my brother is the one that actually got me into podcasting. When I started podcasting, my first interview was supposed to be for his podcast, and then they didn't end up using it because they stopped making the podcast. And I was like, yo, I'm using this clip.
Hey, take it.
And they're like, okay, I don't care. And I ended up recording with a UFC fighter, Ricky Simmons.
Really?
Yeah.
That's freaking cool. Actually,
and
I love the UFC.
I'm not even gonna lie. I've been trying to reach back out to him to try to get more people.
Yeah.
And again, nothing. But I get it.
Do you watch the UFC?
I'm getting more into it.
Oh my god.
I am getting way more into it.
Dude, the fight this weekend I don't know if you know Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal at all.
I know of them.
So those two are really good training partners and stuff. It's Colby Covington is the better fighter. He's an amazing wrestler, right? He has really good stand up. He gave Kamaru Usman, he tested him in both fights. He lost both, right? and he's fighting George. George is a really accurate striker, but I don't know if he's gonna be able to outlast the wrestling. Like it's just like wrestling is like I feel like it's just the foundation. If you don't have wrestling and you go into something like that, you're gonna get killed.
If you don't have wrestling, jiu-jitsu, even like if you don't have any grappling, if you're not gonna last in a fight. Most fights end up on the ground. Like somebody fighting like Zach Lansing, he's not gonna end up on the ground. Like he's not gonna let you put him on the ground.
He's flexible as hell.
Oh no, he is
crazy. He can do splits. I'm like I'm working my way towards splits because I stretch every day, but that man is scary. He does not look flexible and can move, but that man is a gorilla.
I'm gonna have him back on, like just him, and so like, I do the podcast for fun. So like when I have Johnny on now, like before we were being serious about it, but like doing conspiracy theories, but like I enjoy just.
Don't let me get started with conspiracy theories because I'll talk about the whole cave system in the U.S. and how that a lot of people die there and what's going on. I love it. I love just talking about random things because it's like getting different perspectives is the way it works, you know.
That's the whole point of this show. Like, I learned so much about you, about like your journey on your weight, like losing weight, and I didn't know that you worked for South. So
it's just a little part of me. I have so much more to share, but it's just like you can only talk about so much in one period, you know. It's not.
And like the best thing about this is like. People can always come back on.
Yeah, like, I would love to do this more often. You know, I like being in front of a camera, I guess, because I like to act goofy and like
fun.
For me, like people don't understand. Like sometimes, like I didn't realize like certain situations I try to joke and serious situations, but it was really because like when you have a sadness inside of you and you're depressed and anxiety. You try to make other people around you happy and laugh because, you know, like, it's so difficult for yourself. And sometimes people are like, all right, that's too much. And I've kind of had to learn, like not just social cues because that's not really what it was. It was more just like, okay, tone it down a little bit. Just like, it's not the right point. But then, you know, if I said something and people laughed and they said you're stupid, I was like, well, at least you're laughing. At least you're having fun. You know, if I'm laughing at my own jokes, that's my goal. You know,
I laugh at myself all the time.
I love it. It's just like if you're not goofy, you're not having fun.
And it's like, not even like the whole goofy part. Yeah. Like, if you're too serious all the time, life's not fun. It's just stressful, and I don't want to be stressed anymore. And like, turning on the news and listening to everything that was going on, and like, so for example, I didn't know if I could get like recalled. Like to go like help fight Ukraine if we get and so like for the longest time like when that was kicking off I was wicked stressed because like I haven't been out for more than 2 years like they can still call me back and so it's just like okay are they gonna call me back, can they call me back, what would happen if they call me back?
That's a tough.
I don't want to be put back on meds. I don't and like all this stuff is going through my head and it's just like But come to find out, I mean, I'm still not 100% sure because I can't find, like, a solid answer, but everything I've been reading is saying no because I got out on, like, medical stuff. But, I don't know. It's all... I just don't... It's going to sound weird. I just don't think about it anymore. Like...
Yeah, you know, me and my brother have this conversation all the time in terms of, like, going to war and stuff and, like, if we ever got drafted. And I was like... I feel like I was born in the wrong time period because for a long time I just didn't care about living and stuff. So I had the mentality where like, I wish I was born in a time period where I could just fight to the death. But now that like, I've got myself to a place where I'm starting to enjoy life again, I'm like, well, I probably wouldn't like that anymore. Like, it's a whole mental shift. Like, every day starts off hard, but like as the day goes on, like, I kind of evaluate things instead of let my emotions take over, and it kind of helps, you know. So that's where I'm at, you know. But in terms of traveling, are you and the lady thinking of going anywhere on vacation?
So, because of like all of the COVID stuff, we've been trying. Every now and again, we'll go away for like a long weekend. We do We like doing a lot of urban exploring.
Oh, that's so fun.
You
know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I have a couple things to say. You do abandoned buildings and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my heart. Don't stop. You're making my heart beat really fast. Yes.
It's so, like, for people who follow me on, like, social media and stuff, you all see the buildings that we go into, but I bought a drone.
Where have you gone around New Hampshire? Some of, like, the big areas. I would love to go. So...
We've been to a couple of different quarries.
Quarries, yeah.
Quarries.
Have you been to the Concord one?
I believe so.
Dude, the jumping spots off there for the swimming. So for me, it was probably 2 years ago that, no, probably more than that, but I've been to an abandoned castle that actually, funny story, we were there and we went through the whole place. Everything was cool. It was just a
Where was this castle?
In New Hampshire? I think it was in Guilford.
Oh, okay.
Right, so I don't think we were supposed to be there, whatever, right? So we were in the basement. And, like, my friend said, oh, did you guys hear that? And I don't know, like, the whole ghost thing, like, if people believe in that. But I didn't hear anything. And then one day I was in Barnes & Noble, and it was on the cover of New Hampshire's Most Haunted. And I was like, that is cool. I was just like, that's just funny. And then I also went to an abandoned mansion. I went to an abandoned small theme park. Just a whole bunch of different things. And it's just, like, amazing to see, like, how people leave things, what they leave behind, like... The sucky part is a lot of people don't give out locations because people like to damage and graffiti stuff.
So, like, what we do, last Memorial Day weekend, this is it right here. I found it. So this is Holy Land, USA.
I've heard about that place. I wanted to go see that.
This is Johnny in front of
That's awesome.
the giant cross.
Johnny's tatted up, man.
Yeah. Look at his shirt. It's an ass in a hut
in
front of the cross. Cool. But this place was wicked cool. This is the hotel that we got. This place, they tested the polio the polio vaccine here. One of the polio vaccines here. This is a hospital. We didn't end up going into... it was an old abandoned resort.
Dude, abandoned hospitals are the most eye-opening experiences because, like, you can kind of tell the way they treated people based off what the rooms used to look like. And I'm like, wow, like, they were treated horribly.
This was the hospital. This place...
Did you have any... Cool. So, have you ever had an experience where, like, it was, like, a bad, scary experience? Or has it been all, like... I have one, too. We almost got locked in.
Alright, so, this was outside in the open. Like, this was in Hill, New Hampshire. Hill, New Hampshire is an abandoned ghost town. There's two Hill, New Hampshires. There's Old Hill and New Hill.
Yeah.
Old Hill, me and my wife pulled into, like, where you're supposed to park, and there was these two old people walking out. No cars around, just two old people walking out. I didn't think anything of it at first.
Yeah.
And they were like, you can't park here. And, like, they were wicked rude. And I was
they always are. Old people are
crazy. And I was like, okay, I'll where do you want me to park? And, like, they pointed. And I was like, alright. And I was like, I'm just going to pull up and do a U-turn. And they're like, alright. And I pulled up and I did a U-turn. And as soon as I did a U-turn, they were gone.
So, do you think it was a ghost? Like...
100%.
Oh, my heart.
Like, Emily was with me, and I looked at her, and I was like, where'd they go? And she was like, I don't know.
Imagine if they were, like, aliens or something, and they just, like...
Well, so we got out of the car, and we were walking around looking at things, and, like, it felt dark and heavy.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
And I looked at Emily, I was like, we have to leave. We don't belong here right now. And she's like, but we just got here. I was like, I don't care. We're leaving. And she's like, why? I'm like, you don't feel that? Like, something doesn't want
Some people don't feel it. Like, all it takes is... And then the problem is like, there's always going to be Pete skeptics saying, oh, it's not true, there's no such thing as ghosts, but, like, when you feel something's there and it's, like, saying, get away, you have to get away, or it might attach itself to you. You don't know. Like, it could follow you. And...
My mom's Wiccan.
Yeah.
So I grew up with thinking ghosts are real. And, like, she didn't put that in our head.
Yeah.
We used to live over on Appleton Street.
Mm-hmm.
And we would always be like, the house is haunted, yeah. And they'd always be like, no, it's not. And then one day we came home, and my mom was like, pale white. And we're like, you okay? And, like, she finally told us a couple years later what happened, and we were all at school, and she heard a little kid ask her where the bathroom was.
Oh, I have a story about that. Oh,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish yours.
Well, no, that was pretty much it, and that's when she was like, yeah, I know,
kitty.
like, the house is haunted, ghosts are real, surprise.
So, before we continue, what's your cat's name again?
That's Molly.
Oh, I'm such an animal lover. Hey, Molly. All right, so getting back to the whole ghost thing, I was staying at my friend's house in Goffstown. It was pretty much almost right in the, not Bernardville, but like the center of Goffstown. Yep. And it was the night before we had some type of sporting event, so I slept in his brother's bed, and his room was right next door. And I couldn't fall asleep, so I was just laying like this in the bed, and I had my head back, eyes closed, because it was a dark room. And I heard a little girl say my name in my ear. So I tensed up, and I didn't want to be a weirdo and go snuggle with my friend in his bed, because I wasn't going to go do that. I'm a macho teenage man, whatever. So I eventually fell asleep, and about a week later, my friend's mom posted a video of like a silhouette of a little girl on the stairs. So I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. The house is haunted. I'm never staying at your house again. She was a sweet little girl, but never again. And what was the ghost story I had? I guess we'll have to keep talking if it comes back to me.
This one time, I have a couple ghost stories, like, where I was, like, touched by ghosts.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, no, it's one of the most scariest things ever. This one time, I got woken up in the middle of the night to somebody asking me where my sister was. And, like, we just switched rooms. And I was like, she's down the hall to the right. And they just, like, kept repeating, like, where's Sam, where's Sam, where's Sam? And I just kept saying...
Maybe he was warning you. Like, where is she? You know?
And I was like, down the hall to the right, down the hall to the right. And then, all of a sudden, I couldn't breathe. And, like, I felt hands on my neck.
Oh.
And, like, I went to go get up, and I couldn't get up. And everybody's like, oh, it's a night terror. And I was like...
Nope.
No, like...
You'd know if it was a night terror.
No, like, the fact... Like, I've felt people grab my throat before.
And that's what it felt like?
That it was so real and so scary. Mm. And, like, I got up, like, in one side, like, I could breathe. I finally caught my breath, and I ran to my mom's room, like, yo, somebody's in the house. And my dad's like, no, there isn't. Go back to bed. I would have woke up. I'm like, you didn't hear me screaming. Like...
So... I used to live with my ex-girlfriend, and she has a daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she would wake up the daughter, and she would just say, hey, there's a man, or there's like a blue butterfly or something. So my ex-girlfriend played with the Ouija board when she was younger, so that could have been it, where she invited whatever. So I got sick and tired of it, because I was like, I kept bothering her, and we eventually had her start sleeping in there, and she just slept with the grandma. I looked into the room, I was like, you need to stop bothering her. Like, I confronted it, which is what you should not do. You should not, so...
It depends.
No, but like, this is gonna sound stupid, but we eventually got one of those stupid apps that like the YouTubers would use to contact.
Yeah.
Like that. And it said my name on the app, and I had scratches, like 3 hard talon scratches on my ass, like big. And I was just like, okay, I'm sorry I bothered you, but I don't. But the thing is, I don't even know if it was a bad spirit. I think it was just like me yelling at it, like you know. So who knows? But after that, I never got bothered again. But I was like, all right, I need to stop. Like, that's too much.
So one of the things that like my mom taught me, because like I've always seen spirits. I've always been able to see spirits like a lot more during like spiritual holidays. Mm-hmm. And like I'm not religious.
That's a touchy subject, religion.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna say I'm an atheist, but like I'm not religious. But it's. So, like, especially around, like, spiritual holidays, mm-hmm. like, I don't remember it's a spiritual holiday.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm just, like, seeing, like...
Weird things.
Yeah, and, like, I have to, like, look up, like, on Google, like, what holiday's coming up.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. And it's, like, sometimes I'll see, like, I see a lot more spirits when people around me are going to pass away.
Yeah, you know what? My ex-girlfriend was the same way. She would get, like, bad dreams about, like, people passing away, and, like, I wonder if it was, like, something telling her.
So, like, I don't get bad dreams. Like, I'm awake.
Like,
Like, right now, I just be chilling, and then I just see a black figure just standing right there.
Yeah, that's wild.
And then, like, if I was by myself, and, like if I was watching TV, I would just be like, can I help you? And then, like, it would just leave.
Yeah, so
So like my mom taught me like to talk to it, but like don't be a dick
about it. Yeah.
Like because they were alive at 1.2. Yeah. So it's like
they always say like they might not know they're dead. You know
exactly. I mean? So it's like they might be confused, and it's just like, hi, can I help you?
Welcome to Fat Burger. Would you like? So back to the urban exploration. We actually were coming back from Pennsylvania from a wedding, and we stopped at. We were just randomly driving on the highway, and we saw an abandoned movie theater. So we were checking it out. Everything was cool. We went in through a side door. We checked out the actual movie theaters. The only bad part is it was like black mold, so we had to be careful.
Yeah.
But our phones were dying, and that's what we used our flashlights on. And then we couldn't find the exit. So we were like maybe 10 minutes away from being in the dark, not knowing where anything is. And I have to use the bathroom so bad.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I use the bathroom? I hate doing that while the podcast.
No, not at all. People do it all the time.
Where is the bathroom? Oh,
it is. We're back.
Yeah, I drank too much water, and I was like, I was gonna wait till after, and I wasn't sure if it wasn't even appropriate. I didn't know.
You know, it's kind of to the point where it doesn't really matter. It's what's so great about this is it's a conversation, and so like, pretty much up until we cut, up until I snapped it 3 times, that's when it's gonna be split back in.
Yeah.
So like nobody missed anything.
Yeah. Well, I feel refreshed. I feel like a new man. You know what I mean? When you first wake up and get that first bathroom out of the way, you're like, feels so good. Yeah, but back to what I was saying. Like, we were literally within 10 minutes of being in the dark, and you know, like, it wasn't one of those small movie theaters. It was a big one. Yep. So like, luckily we eventually found the same door we came through. But like, it was one of those like, you didn't feel like you were gonna die, but it was like a panicky situation. So
no, I wish I took better. Baby.
Oh, who's your little chunky fluffer? So I have a mini wiener chihuahua. Chihuahua. I usually bring him everywhere with me, but because it's so cold, I don't have the heart to bring him out. Like, I literally won't. He's so little. He's probably like 5 pounds.
You don't have like a sweater for him?
No, I have a jacket and stuff, but it's just like, I'm so overprotective of animals. Like, even if someone yells at an animal, I get upset, even if it's for a right reason. I value animals just as much as I do humans, which I don't know if I should, but that's just how my mentality is.
It's animals are like, they're not defenseless, but they're defenseless at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Molly and Tunzi. So I have 2 cats.
Yeah.
This is their forever home. Like, I adopted them. When I first got Tunzi, she had a UTI that we didn't know about. We thought she was just marking her territory. And, like, we took her to the vet the first time, and she was like, yeah, she's fine.
Of course.
Because they're like, yeah, she's marking her territory. But then we come find out she had a UTI, and, like, we felt terrible.
So, is it just antibiotics they give them? Or?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we got Molly, because we thought she was like, also we thought another reason why she might have been peeing so much is because she has separation anxiety.
Yeah.
And so we got a kitten to maybe like offset that.
So how are they?
Oh, at first they hated each other.
Hey, all cats do. Get out of my house.
But now they cuddle together and they love each other. So it's nice. It's nice now.
I always joke. I always talk to my dog, and I do those cute little voices. I'm like, don't worry. Once we get a place, I'll get you a girlfriend, because I know you're lonely. Because I feel like my parents are there so like they can watch him when I leave. But like, I'd feel awful if I had to leave him to go to work for 8 hours and just have him have nobody. So I'm probably going to get like a medium-sized dog so they can hang out and tear up the house.
Yeah. It's such a terrible thought, but like, life is life, and like, it's going to take its course. But Molly is 5 years younger than Tunzi. So, in, like... Eventually, like, thinking about it, Tunzi's going to pass away before Molly.
And she's going to meow her freaking face off.
And so, I already told Emily, once Tunzi passes away, we can get a dog. Because Emily wants a dog.
What kind of dog are you thinking?
She wants a English bulldog, I believe.
See, the way so you know, dog mixtures, obviously they have to have 2 different dogs. the way they used to look, they didn't have those snouts and...
It was long.
Yeah, so I actually saw a post where they're trying to, like, rebreed them correctly. So, like, they can breathe correctly. Like, it's just so sad to see the problems they go through, like, as they get a little older. They literally can't breathe. Like, that's no bueno.
But, like, I don't know. If I could, I'd save every animal.
Oh, my God, I'm the same way. I'm like, come home with me and snuggle.
I just, like... Emily kept trying to convince me to get another cat.
No, you need a dog. At this point, you already have 2 kitties, you know?
And, like, that's what I said. I was like, well, not about the dog. I was like, look, we only have 2 cats. Like, we don't have enough room for any more animals. I would love to save every animal I could. But
you know
it's
what?
a lot.
There's actually this guy that has about, like, a 40-acre plot of land, and all he does is save animals, like alpacas, horses, dogs. And...
Man, could you imagine owning an alpaca? I'd train it to spit at people.
Dude, the way they, like, prance around, like, they're so cute. I would love to just not ride
one. When I was in Illinois, on the way to Walmart, this guy had an alpaca. He had 2 of them, yeah. And it was just always fun driving to Walmart. And then, just out in the middle of nowhere, you see these 2 llamas prancing around.
Yeah, there was, when I lived in Florida, Plantation, which is right next to Fort Lauderdale, there was this pet store that there'd be this huge tortoise that would just walk around and be like, hey, what's going on? You know how, like, DJs use the spin table? I'd go on the back, like, because they have the hard shell, so I would just pet them gently. But it's cool. I like, but I don't like going to pet stores because they overprice the animals, and it's like, are they really treating them correctly? Like,
probably not.
Like, my dad told me a story about how this lady took her dog to a groomer's and then the tail was broken. I'm like, listen, I'll tell you right now, if my dog's anything got broken...
I'd beat somebody.
No, I just do the equivalent to what happened to them. That's a fair trade, you know?
So what would you break if it was a tail? A leg?
Yeah.
A
leg. If it's a guy, the 3rd leg. If it's a female,
leg,
the 2nd leg. You know? But... you gotta treat animals the way you treat anything else in life. Otherwise, it's like, why have one? You know.
And like the whole like defenseless thing is what I was saying. Me to my cat.
Yeah.
My cat's not going to do jack shit to me compared to what I can do to it.
Yeah. And even
like,
if you're mad, like just.
And so like the only time I've ever like done anything bad to an animal, and like I almost went blind. And this is the only reason why I did it.
Yeah.
I was sleeping, and she jumped on my face, and I didn't know it was her.
Oof.
And so, like, I felt like something go into my eye. So my instinct was just to grab in front of me. And so I grabbed whatever was there, and I threw it off of me.
Dude.
And, like, I heard, like, the... No, it wasn't even, like, a long one. It was a short and just... And I was like, what did I... And, like, I'm, like...
Yeah, but that was
like I'm bleeding out of my eye. And,
that
like,
happened to my brother.
Man, I felt so bad after. But she's alive.
My brother, he was sleeping with a pit bull we had, and the dog was the sweetest to us, but it was like very territorial. Like it wouldn't even let a mailman bring mail in. It had a bad dream, and it lockjawed onto his face. Like it literally fucked him up. But we knew like it was a bad dream, and you know the only ever bad situation I had with the animal was it was on top of a microwave and it smacked me, so I gave it a little tap back. I was like, "You're not gonna scratch my face." But other than that,
so I defend myself. I will never like actually go out and hurt an animal.
Yeah.
One of the first times, it wasn't one of the first times. Me and Emily were dating for a couple months, and I went over her house one time, and she has I think it's a boxer and pit mix, and it latched onto my leg. And like at first, not my leg. Like I was able to pull my leg fast enough, so it just grabbed my pant leg.
Though, F that.
And like I kept trying to pull it away, and it wouldn't. And, like I couldn't open his mouth.
Yeah.
And Emily was freaking out, and I was like, "Don't worry, like I'll get him off of me, but like I'm gonna hit him."
Yeah,
and I wasn't panicking. And she was like, "What do you mean?" No, I cut my hand, and I just tapped him like on the side of the jaw, and it just opened, and I pulled it away, and he just looked at me, and I was like, "Do it again, I dare you." And he didn't. He never tried to bite me again.
I mean, once it gets to a point where they're being too aggressive, or
like
they lockjaw, it's just. I mean, it's a little tap. You're not killing the animal, so I mean, that's yeah.
Like I felt, but and like after.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh.
After we hugged it out, because like. I don't know exactly why he did it, but like he did it. But oh well.
I always think it's funny. Like humans come up with the funniest names for their animals. Like what are some nicknames that you have for your kitties?
Bitcho.
Bitcho. I have Bullshy Boy.
Bullshy Boy.
Or hamster, but I say hamster, and then he just looks at me and gives me those eyes.
So we call her Squish.
Squish?
Because
she's a fluffy one.
When we first got her, and even now, we hold her like a baby. And she likes being like squished. We call her Tunsy Bitch Ho because she acts like a bitch ho.
Does she come out when there's
people? Around? Nope.
So she's kind of one of those hide until...
She'll get hungry and then be like, alright, you're not going to stop me from getting my food. I'm going to go eat. And then she'll like peek her head around the corner, see how busy it is, and then like eat food real quick and then go lie back down. But even if she's like right now, normally, if she's not laying down in here, she's on the couch, on a pillow, on a blanket, just watching TV with us.
Yeah, see that's what I like to do. I like to just chill at home and just stay out of trouble. Just watch movies or whatever.
I love my kitties.
And honestly, now that I've been by myself for like a couple months now, like I've actually got to work on myself and watch shows I want to watch and not spend money I don't want to spend. And and yeah, it's nice to have the company and someone's there every day, but
you need to work on yourself.
Yeah, and that's what I've done. So like now, like if I do date, I can take my time with it and not rush into it, and I'm not eager to be like I need to love someone. Like I love my dog, like that's enough. And then if I find someone else that deserves that, it'll happen.
Like so me and my wife, we've been together pretty much since high school.
When did you graduate high school? Because I think Emily was 2015, right?
She graduated with you, yeah. So I graduated 2016.
Oh, so you guys. 6 years?
Mm-hmm.
6 years,
yeah. Coming up on 6 years.
Dude, look at you. You're all growing up. I'm looking up to you right now. Hey, Dad, can I get a couple bucks for the movies?
But, so, like, we've been through so much together, and, like, over the years, you kind of lose yourself.
Yeah,
and so she's like, I'm trying to find stuff to do. That's not for you. She got into roller derby and she's really good at roller derby.
They have that around here where the girls go crazy at each other. Is that where they like hit each other?
Yeah, they're on roller skates and hit each other.
Fuck you.
Yeah, she's the one that got me into roller skating.
Ah, shit. Oh, so do you use the?
I don't use quads. No.
Dude, I love. There's a place I think in Haverhill where it's like adult night, and it's just going in circles, but it's so fun with the music and boom, 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 boom. Hey. Melissa, she's like, Daddy, don't do anything but look away. Daddy, I'm busy.
Come here.
Come on, Melissa.
That's a very precious painting. I can't get another one.
Melissa's like, that could be me and the other kitty if you just let us live our best life. If they're curious what the picture is, it's literally what? Baboon on top of another baboon, like
it's a baby baboon sitting on top of a mom baboon.
Yeah, so she's like crossing a lake, right? I'm sure it's probably like
drinking water, I believe. So the story behind that, I got that in Kenya.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Tell me more about Africa. Tell me more about besides you getting hurt. Like, what else did you experience when you were out there?
So I didn't really experience too much, sadly. I was mainly on the base the whole time in Kenya. I went to the village once.
How was the village experience? Was it eye-opening?
It was sad. Eye-opening.
Dude, that's why I can't go to some places. 'Cause I'm like, all these dogs running around, like, even though we're people, but.
So this is Africa. We're looking at pictures. Most of these pictures are on my social media.
Yep. Was Emily with you?
No.
Oh, really?
No, I was like beyond I was at a forward operating location.
Oh, really?
So like, we were like armored up and I had to wear like battle and I had.
Was it dangerous out there?
Yeah. After we left, they got attacked. Like 2 months after we left.
How many people? Was there a lot of fatalities?
1 American fatality.
That's tough.
And then a couple injuries, if I remember correctly. The doctor out there, he would have the
snake venom and shit.
No, so these are the snake heads. All the venomous snakes. He would have the security forces people
Yeah.
She's a bad kitty. She's trying to test you.
She wants attention. He would have, like, the cops out there, the people protecting the base, if they saw a snake, kill it. And, like, they'd bring it back to...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I gave a monkey an apple one time.
Those monkeys are crazy.
I learned how to drive a 10K forklift.
How was that? Was it pretty fun?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I love driving forklifts.
We made a table. This is one of my bosses. We woke up one morning and we were wearing the same exact outfit.
That's cool. Literally the same outfit.
Yeah, and, like, it's not uniform. It's just same exact outfit.
Wait a minute. Go back to that flower. It's kind of like this.
It is. It's just like that. I used to have to mow.
That was one of your duties?
Yeah. And so... Oh, see, look at the bedrooms.
Monkeys. Give me this, father.
That's one of my other bosses. But,
how were your bosses when you were out there?
So, when we... I accidentally stopped looking at it, like, in a military point of view, and I was just, like, calling them, like, by their last name, like, not sergeant or anything, because, like, we just got relaxed, like... Yeah. That's just how it was. And then, we just like anything, like, we got into it, we had fun, I liked them, I don't have any bad feeling towards any of them, every now and again, I message, one of them, the one that I was matching with. Yeah. I message him every now and again, and it was altogether. It was a good time.
Was that a race you guys were doing, or were you getting smoked? What was it?
This was just a color run. They tried to do stuff, and, like, people were like, oh wow, you did a color run, like, you weren't really deployed. And it's like,
yes, you were. Come on.
And it's like,
ask them if they want to go there and do it. You know.
Yeah. See, here we go. See, here we are. Just.
That must have been tough, though, being all the way away from your wife like that.
No.
No?
I'm not gonna lie. Like,
was it good needed space?
It wasn't needed. This is gonna be really messed up, but, like, people who have been in this situation will, like, understand it. I miss certain aspects of it. Sometimes I wish I was back there because the only thing I was worried about was myself and being alive.
Gotcha.
I didn't have to worry about if my car payment was paid. I didn't have to worry about my bills.
Gotcha.
Because, like,
I get what you're saying.
My top priority was my was my job and staying alive.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I looked at. And so...
Oh my god, she really is like a little baby.
Yeah.
Dad, please.
And so it was different. I missed that portion of it. I don't miss, like, thinking if I'm not going to see my family the next day.
Yeah, that's...
I got told that a lot over there. Like, say goodbye to your family, you don't know if you're going to see them.
I guess it's good to, like, make it surreal, but if they keep saying the same thing, it's like, okay, we get it. We get where we are. We're getting it. Really.
But, like, they don't want you to forget it. Like, that's the problem. Like, I'm standing there with the M4 on my chest and an M9 on my hip. Like...
Was that all the time? You were just continuously, there's always...
If I went to the flight line, that's what I looked like.
Okay. What rank did you leave as?
E4. So that's a senior airman.
So, you were Air Force?
Yes.
So what do you start as? Like an E1? Is that what it is?
I went in as an E2.
And then how long did it take? How long were you in for?
I was in for just under 4 years.
So and that's what the normal rank would have been? Or is that like...
I made senior airman 6 months early.
Really?
Yeah. There was this thing called BTZ, below the zone. And people make fun of it being called below the zone because you gotta suck a lot of dick to get it. And...
I don't know.
I didn't have to do a lot of brown nosing because they made it very easy. By they, I mean the people that, like, I was competing against. I showed up, I did my job, and then if they asked me to do a volunteer job, I'd just be like, sure, I don't care.
I mean, that's with anything, though. Like, even, like, working for a company, it's like, people are always going to say, oh, you're kissing ass, but it's like...
I just put forth a little effort.
If you put forth a little effort, you might even become their bosses one day. Like, I don't want to kiss anybody's ass, but I might be nice to someone if it means that we'll get along and get the job. I don't want to be in a place where, like, I consistently resent the people I'm around. Like, that just makes... That's why, like, I took other jobs in different states. Like, I worked in Florida, I worked in Boston. Like, when you worked at a bigger station, like, it was just easier. Like, when you work here, it's smaller. It's like everybody's in the business. Like, yeah, it's just tough to deal with.
And, like, I tested early for staff, too. And that's the only reason why I wanted to make below the zone, because I wanted to make staff. Mm-hmm. But I missed staff by 6 points.
What? So how does that point system work?
It's just like a test. You take 2 different tests.
You missed it by 6 points, huh?
And, like, there's this thing called an EPR, and that rates you throughout the year. And so this is a very controversial topic for, like, the people that know about it, like, on my side. Yeah. I made below the zone, and on my EPR, my rating, they only gave me a 3 out of 5.
Why is that?
I wasn't a senior airman for long enough for them to give me a proper rating.
Come on.
But, like, how me and, like, my superiors looked at it, because the rating's given to me by the commander, not my superiors.
Gotcha.
We were like, but I was able to be that rank, and that's why I got that rank so early.
Yeah.
And so if I got a 4, like, even a 4, I would have made staff. But I didn't.
So how long is the period in between retaking the test?
A year. Oh. But I didn't even last that long because I ended up getting out.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to retire what you wanted.
But, I mean, I wasn't planning on getting out when I was testing.
So what made you get out then? What was the whole mindset with that?
So when I was having all my stomach issues.
Oh, okay.
And then I finally went to I was going to mental health and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then one day my therapist looked at me and he was like, "Do you know that your doctor's trying to get you out of the military?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, he put you in for to get, like, kicked out medically."
I've heard stories like that where they sneakily try to, like, kick you out.
And I was like, "How? For what?" And he's like, "For your stomach issues." And I was like,
I would have went up to that doctor like, "Don't play with me. Don't play with me."
And so, like, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, this is affecting me, like, 100%. It's affecting my job.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to deploy. I wasn't able to leave duty station. Like, I wasn't able to go to a new place until I was medically cleared. And so I was like, if I'm stuck here and I can't deploy, I'm doing the same thing that somebody did to me and that got me deployed. Somebody decided to go get on a waiver so they couldn't deploy.
Gotcha.
And so I wasn't going to sit in the military and not deploy because I'm not mentally sound to deploy. So I did my job. Yeah, like, and this is something that I have to remind myself because everybody is different with everything. Like, I watch things with vets who have, like, gone to combat zones and they're missing limbs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I look at them and I'm like, and I have anxiety. Like,
yeah.
But, like, my experience was different than their experience.
Yeah, but at least you made it out safe.
But in, like,
you know.
But not only that, but, like, everybody reacts differently to things, and that's what everybody has to remember.
So when you first got out, was it really hard for you to adjust not having that job, or you're like, okay, I'm out now, it's time to move on to something else?
So the whole transition was weird because from the time I got back from my deployment to the time I was out was a year almost. Mm-hmm. And so, like, when I first got home, I didn't leave my house for, like, the first 3 months.
Really?
My anxiety was so... I didn't have a gun strapped to my chest. I wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest anymore. Like, I slept with my M9 underneath my bed with one in the chamber.
Always, huh?
Like, that we had to.
Yeah.
And so, like, I got back and I didn't have that. I didn't have that security that I felt I needed. Yeah, you must have felt
really weird, yeah.
And so I felt lost and my anxiety was so high because I didn't have protection. And that's just how my brain represented it. And it's just weird how it happens.
You know, the way you train your brain is the way your brain's going to think. And if you were in a certain mindset and you just were always in that mindset and then you come back and you're not in it anymore, your brain wants to take you to that place. So it's like, to have a mind shift, it takes a lot of work. I mean, the average person, you know, they're going to think about whatever, but, like, when something drastic happens where you're not doing it anymore, like, I can see why you never left your house for 3 months. Like, so you didn't leave your house for 3 months, and then what got you to start, like, acting normal and try to get on a schedule again? Was it more you just needed money? Was it more you just like Emily was like, come on, like?
So, Emily was like, you need to go talk to mental health. Like, it was affecting our marriage.
Yeah.
And like I saw that, and I was like, I need to go talk to mental health. Holy shit! And so I went and I talked to mental health, and they got me on medicine. We started like moving forward, and and it wasn't an easy road. I've always been open about this. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like medicine, because it helped me, but it also made me feel worse at the same time.
Oh my god, isn't that the truth? I felt so numb when I took medicine.
One of the last medicines I took, I forget what it's called, but I was working and I was at the dorms, and the dorms had three floors to it, and I was standing there with another airman, and we're waiting for somebody to come open the door, and I was just like looking over the edge, and I was like, yo, it'd be dope just to yeet myself over this right now. And like I thought that, like word for word in my head. I even said yeet I thought it was.
You're not abnormal for that though, because the average person is what they have intrusive thoughts, where they think about something like, why am I thinking like this?
But like,
you know what I mean?
But what was different was I've never had those thoughts before until I took that medicine. So like, I looked at this kid and I was like, I'm going to mental health. And he's like, what? Why? I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, it's not your business.
Yeah, it's tough to talk about.
Like at this moment, it's not your business. Yeah. But like down the road, I talked about it.
I wonder if he was just more like worried, like why you all of a sudden felt that way. Like I know why.
It's weird. It just came on to me. It was the weirdest thing.
Like I don't know. Like I get why you told him don't worry about it, but I wonder if he was just coming from a genuine place of like, are you okay? Like, you know what I mean? Like.
That's what I called my boss and I was like, hey, I'm going to mental health for the rest of the day. See ya. And he was like, okay.
Yeah, and I think that's hard to understand, like how much mental health can affect like your marriage. It can affect like your day to day, like people.
It affects everything.
And like when you're in a mood and it starts to rub off on everybody else and it starts to put them in a bad mood, then it's like, okay, now I really need to control myself, because like I can't have everything around me go to crumbles because I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah, it's mental. So the military was very big on like talking about mental health when I was in, and I just don't think that their message was right about it.
Yeah.
Like how they presented it, because like one of the core values for the Air Force is service before self. But like, if myself isn't 100%, I can't serve.
Which is, I think that's like a touchy subject, because it's like, okay, you want only the fittest people and the strongest people, but like when the people that have been serving for, let's say, 15 years and they gave it everything they had, why can't they take a mental period to get better and then come back and serve the rest of the term? Like, even if they said, okay, take 6 months, we'll just add the 6 months on when you come back. Like, something like that. Like, it doesn't have to be, we have to kick you out and that's it.
Well, I mean, so like that, I asked for this.
Yeah.
Because I knew I wouldn't
perform or like.
So like I know if I go back over there, I could 100% do it. Like
yeah.
But it's coming back. I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, that's the toughest part about it is going to a place like that and then coming back. Because while you're out there, you don't think about anything else except for surviving, and that's what keeps you going. And then you get back, and now you're just like, I went through this horrendous experience, and now I have to try to deal with it.
Yeah, my cousin, I'm pretty sure he served in the 2004, was it the Iraq War? Or was it... He served in one of the wars, and, like, I was too young to understand, like, why he was acting weird when he came back, but, like, I guess he would, like, tell my uncles all the stories and stuff, and, like, he went to therapy, and like he's doing tremendous. He just became a firefighter, but like I heard like he was messed up for like years because of all the stuff he's seen out there. Like it's
so to lighten this up a little bit, because we're talking.
So
like another,
so dark.
So a happy quote unquote war thing.
Yeah.
When my brother deployed when I was in high school. This.
Oh, there's your other kid.
Yep, there
Sorry.
she is. No, you're good. So when my brother went to Afghanistan when I was in high school, I showed up to school one day, and I was a stupid teenager, so, I smoked pot in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed up to class one day, and I was high, and my teacher sent me to the nurse's office. And
He's sick.
Yeah, no, and I get down there, and, he walks in there, and, we're talking with the nurse, and instantly, I was like, is my brother okay?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And I was like, well, you guys told me to come down to the nurse's office. I didn't know something happened to my brother. And they were like, why would something happen to your brother? And I'm like, because he's in Afghanistan. And he was, and they were just like, what? And the first thing my brother taught me when he joined the military was use the military in any way, shape, or form you can.
Okay.
And military discounts, as an excuse for whatever. And so he was like, try to pull the military card whenever you can if you're in the military. And I was like, my brother's in the military. Let's see if I can pull this. And so, they took my heart rate and stuff, and they were like, why is your heart rate so high? Why are you so scared? Yes. And I was like, because you guys just told me to come down to the nurse's office, and I thought my brother was dead in Afghanistan.
Wow. I wouldn't even, if I was the nurse, I'd be like, you're dismissed. Get out.
That's what she did. She looked at me, and she was like, can you just... Can you go to Mr. Collins' office?
All right, just take a hard right.
Yeah, because for a protocol, and then I had to go talk to the assistant principal.
And then you leave, and she's like, "Fuck, I need to retire."
So I walked into Mr. Collins' office, and you remember Mr. Collins?
Oh yeah, he's big boy.
And he was like, "Shabuk, what are you doing in here?" And I was like, "Sir, I was told I smelled like the marijuana." And he looked at me, and he was like, "Get the fuck out of my office!" And I was like, "Yes, sir." And I just got up and I walked away. And I was like,
he was cool.
Yeah, I didn't believe it worked for me.
I really wish I had Mr. Collins. He looked like he was grumpy, but he was way better than Mr. O'Neill. Mr. O'Neill was just awful.
That was my real assistant principal. He was mean, and I'm not taking that back. If you hear this.
One of the things I always told people one day we used to work out hard when we played football. One day he calls me and he's like, "Are you doing steroids?" I'm like, "Why are you even calling me out of class to do this?" I should have said yes to mess with them, but now my mentality is I want to get to a point where I look good enough for people to ask me, because I'm always gonna be natural. But if I could get to that point, I'm like, all right, I've done something good here.
See, so I've thought about doing steroids, but not to get nasty.
Yeah.
Because you can do steroids in a healthy way, but I'm not there yet. I don't have to.
Yeah.
If I ever want to look like The Rock, yeah, I have to do steroids.
All those guys are on some type of steroids.
Something. They're always on something.
Even you look at Arnold and stuff, and all those guys, no matter what, they all took steroids. And even Ronnie Coleman, who was one of the best bodybuilders, he was yeah, I went to the same doctor as them, and they just did it. I'm like, I guess you guys, the thing is those guys are hard workers, and I understand why
they work their ass off still.
I understand why they took the steroids. It was for their competition, but as long as it's known that it's not a natural competition, if they're doing it knowingly, that's fine. But if you try to get an unfair advantage, and especially if you try to take it during fighting, you could kill somebody in a ring.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's the only sport I don't think that it should be allowed is fighting.
I get that.
I don't know. I mean, if you guys want to make a league, and they actually have, I think there's a league in Japan where they allow you to take steroids and fight. I'm like, that's wild. That is wild.
That's some crazy shit. That would be.
I would have already had a 6-pack. I would have already. No, seriously, I was like, man, if I didn't want to work hard, I could cut it back and just take steroids. But one, I want to do it naturally to see if I can do it. Two, it's expensive, and your cat has the zoomies.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not for me. And then it's if you get off the cycle and then you look like crap after, that's depressing. I don't want to deal with that.
But I am going to have to say, I'm going to have to cut this.
No, you're good.
We are 2.5 hours
That was perfect.
Anything longer?
No, you're good.
It's going to be a bitch to upload.
No, you're good.
Do you have any last words for the free
I just want to say thanks for having me on, and I hope people listened and got something from it, and I didn't ramble on about the gym too much, hopefully. But I appreciate you having me on.
George,
Thank you.
I appreciate it so much. Guys, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. You know what to do. Like it, comment, share it. I love you all. Have a good night.
Peace.